Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the main show, the members only show, where we do the roundtable. You guys get to jump in and we run a panel for discussion. So I'm looking forward to that. Just give me 2 seconds because I have to update some things. All right, welcome to the show. We are going to run the roundtable. Today, I wanted to, as a topic, because I think we're going to talk about this on Sunday. Like, I already have some things written down and I already have my opinions written out pretty much on what I want to say and how I want to approach it, or at least not so much written out. I don't write anything down, but I have it organized on how I want to talk about it, how I want to address it. And the thing I want to talk about is actually the plague of fake stories that runs around about the sister wives and why it's important that we pay attention to it. Not necessarily indulge in them, but that we pay attention to their presentation into the broader sister wife verse. And you might say, James, why is that shit important? Hey, welcome, Rachel Simpson. First live, awesome. Thank you, Wendy. Why is this important? This is important for a few reasons, and we'll get into it. But before we get started, I am going to put the link into the chat, and you guys are more than welcome to join. Bring it right up, and like I said, we'll load as many as we can. Just so you guys know, today is my wife's day, so I got to go out with my lady, and so I'm gonna have to limit this to a 2-hour deal. Can't do it like last week. We was rocking for 5 hours. But yeah, you're more than welcome to come. The link is in the description. So one of the things that like I said, that I will be talking about, I think this Sunday, is the presentation of this whole idea of like these stories. And I kind of see it as the rise of fan fiction within the sister wife verse, because they come out with these fanciful stories. Like I saw one story where he said Christine or Robin and Cody's contract has been canceled by TLC in 2025. They will no longer appear on Sister Wives. We know that that's not true because they're currently filming season 21. So if they terminated their contracts, it would make no sense for them to still be on the show. You know what I mean? So it's just like those type of things. And then we'll talk about like the short-term damage versus long-term damage, long-term advantage, as well as redemption arc, the impact of the audience, and the responsibility that content creators have as we push this information out, especially if we're pushing it out to people who may not be intimately familiar with some of the topics that we discuss and why that can be so damaging. So it's just yeah, they already started filming season 21. They're wasting no time. Now, here's my thing. And part of the reason why I'm so because I get it. Caddy said, please no season 21. No season 21, please. I've had my fill. I am done. I'm full. No, thank you. Would you like seconds? No, please, no. That reminds me of that Sugar Hill song back in the day. Hip hop, hippity the hippity hip hip, a hop, you don't stop the rocket to the bang bang boogie, say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Skibbity bee bop boo bop, the Scooby Doo. Guess what? America, we love you. But I remember that song. Do 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 do. And he was talking about it. Have you ever been over a friend's house to eat where the food just ain't no good? We say the peas are running and the chicken tastes like wood. Basically say they don't want none. You're like, come on, man, possible on your plate. No, thank you. I said I'm done, y'all. That's it. I got the latest plates. I don't care what you people think. Just sitting there making myself nauseous with this ugly food that stinks. So yeah, season 21 is that chicken like wood. But yeah, it's coming. I mean, once they start, look, TLC is not like early Fox. Okay. For those who may not remember, back in the day when Fox started as a television channel, not as a news thing, but as a television channel, they had a bunch of like banger shows. But if your show wasn't like killing it in the ratings, first day out, first season out, your ass got canceled quick. You got canceled quick on Fox. And you know, and that is the way that they did it. TLC does not have that problem. They make a spinoff about anything. TLC will spin off anything, literally. Yeah, Ty said season 21 is going to be all about Kotex being on special forces and him prepping, I bet. You know what? It'll probably talk a lot about that. Yeah, Sugar Hill Gang, Negla. It probably will talk a lot about that. And let's be honest, like they don't have much to talk about. They could talk about Christine suing them for child support and the impact that that has, but they have to be very careful about how they approach that subject, especially with in place court orders. Like they have to be careful about, and this actually, now that I think about it, this actually ties into the subject of the day, which is, people doing these like clickbait ass stories, because they're going to put, if they do cover the custody battle, that puts Cody in a unique position where he can dictate and say what he wants to say about the custody battle. Like, oh, I don't care about the money. It's all about the kids. I love the kids. I want to make sure she's provided for. I just don't want to get ripped off, because sometimes the court can be unfair to men. It's not right. Men's advocacy. That's what I'm about. Making sure the guys are taken care of. That's what I'm about. Right. And that benefits Cody because he can't, like, Christine is prevented from going up saying he's a deadbeat ass dad who don't come see his kids, because there's a court order that says that they can't disparage one another. They can't publicly disparage one another, which would lead to them potentially the child finding out that they're disparaging the other parent to the child, which is always a no-go in every family court jurisdiction. You can't sit around and actively talk shit about the other parent. There can be, I won't say there's always repercussions, but there can be some heavy repercussions for that. And you damn sure can't do it on TV where they can come in with receipts. So, this all really plays into Cody's hands. Rachel Simpson said, it's a sealed case, which is not normally done. He doesn't ever see truly. Normally, family court cases are pretty much closed out. But if there's going to be a large interest in said case, like, you could articulate why it will be necessary to close this out, because fan base, YouTubers and myself included, would be very interested to find out the goings on of what they're talking about, what they're being awarded, what's being alleged, things of that nature, which could, again, none of this is done for the protection of the parties. It's all done in furtherance of protection of the children, or in this case, the child, truly. So you don't want to put out that, it could be damaging to Truly, even though she would be aware that her father's not coming to see her. She doesn't necessarily know why. She doesn't necessarily know that, he's more concerned with his other family. That might not be something that is shared. And if it is shared with her, in no uncertain terms, that could actually be damaging to Christine. Like it's a very fine tightrope that they have to walk in order to get into it. Let's see. According to Without a Crystal Ball, who I think is an investigative journalist. She's not. She's a YouTuber. She tried to access the records, but they are sealed, which she said was unusual in Utah for custody cases. It's like I said, it might not be standard practice for them to seal these cases, but in most family court jurisdictions, and I mean 99% of them, because you're dealing with a minor, like for instance, juvenile court isn't aired on television. If you have a juvenile, 9 times out of 10, they can't post pictures, they can't post names of the juvenile unless they're going to be tried as an adult. And maybe news organizations themselves might have some protection if they could find out certain information somehow, some way, and they post it or print it, then they would have First Amendment protections. But Joe Blow walking into a courthouse saying, I'd like to know what's going on with Cody Brown's finances and how much he's declared on his financial statements as far as his income. What arguments have they used? Because think about it this way. If something were abusive was happening to Truly, like she is a victim somehow of some tyrannical abuse, not just neglect, which is horrible, or financial, which is also horrible, or emotional, which is also terrible, but like he was doing some terrible things to her, they would never talk about it. That would be a case where it would be sealed. Like a lot of this stuff, it's sealed, and yes, it prevents YouTubers and fans from going in satiating their curiosity, but it doesn't necessarily help the child. Like, and what with the argument that you would have to make, like Crystal Ball, Katie Joy, she would have to go to the court and say, in order for you to seal this case, you know, you're shielding the public from knowing what's going on in this arena, like in this public service or whatever. And the court will ask one simple question: how does us telling you what's going on in this case benefit Truly at all? Like, you would have to be able to establish how me, James, the YouTuber, my take on reality benefits by knowing how Truly's custody case is working out. And in most cases, it won't. Because what's going to happen? 9 times out of 10, as proven with most content creators, especially on YouTube, Twitch, whatever, in most 99% of the coverage, it's always negative towards Cody, who is a parent, and you're disparaging one of the parents in this suit. So you're actually going to seek information to disparage a parent in this case, which could prevent a relationship between him and his daughter, the minor child in this particular case. And that could be that's how they see it. Now, has Cody put up forth an effort to see the kid? As far as I know, no, he hasn't. As far as Christine alleges, no, he hasn't. He's not really interested in seeing Truly or spending time with her. But he may change his mind. And the court will always give a parent that deference. Yeah, we're gonna bring up Negla. What's going on, Negla? How you doing?
Hey, James. Hey, my take family. Pretty good.
Welcome to the Roundtable.
I know, this is my first one, and actually, I don't know why you always do this, but literally right after I open something for consumption, that's when you come on.
That's what I catch you. Yeah, right.
It's my alarm clock. You feel me?
It's a sacred technique.
It's a sacred tradition. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh God. But you know what? One of the things, and I'm glad you're talking about this. One of the things that I don't know. I guess TLC gets it, but they don't, or what have you. I don't know how to explain it, but remember, like, back in the day when we was young and walked, to school uphill both ways in the blizzard.
Right.
Um,
Fighting off dinosaurs along the way.
exactly. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
With walking sticks. they they used to, and okay, no, I'm gonna preface this with saying my background is in communications. That that's what undergrad was in, with the emphasis on public relations. Now I normally do print media, so television media is it's fairly foreign to me, or what have you. Not television, but broadcast, what have you. Anyway, I don't know if you remember, like they used to like, okay, we documented this family over the past, year, and maybe do like a 2 hour long special or something like that. I'm not trying to be funny, but like literally they could have done like a mini series, like, okay, this is, Cody's relationship with this person, that person, the other person. What they did with this series is they started it off by jumping the shark. They added another wife. And when you do that, it always goes downhill.
Mm.
And I think that was I not just TLC either. I think that's the problem with a lot of these reality shows. I mean, I love Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I'm sick of all of them. Fire all them anyway. You know what I mean? Fire all them. And even like the different housewives franchises and things like that. Like literally follow them for like I said, a longer period of time, and then give us something real, because what they do is you come out with a half-ass product, and then nobody's like nobody's interested in continuing. Yes, like I said before, we're gonna rubberneck, but that's all we're doing is rubbernecking. Um, you had made the comment that that's why Fauntleroy, my husband calls him, well, I don't know how I want to get you demonetized, but the F word, Leroy. It's so funny because I'm like, babe, that's not what I'm saying. And he's like, it's the same difference. Anyway, but either way, I think that's why he went on that armed forces or whatever show, special forces show, was to get a new audience so that they could reinfuse, people. But the thing is, once you go back and watch season 1 through 80, what are we in 83, season 83, you're gonna not like him, and you're gonna stop watching somewhere down the line. So I don't know, that's just my 2 cents, that's my take.
Well, I mean, because here's like the crazy thing. Like, I am fully aware, and I'll go more into it on Sunday, but I'm fully aware that Cody is making a play. Like, and I say that with all due respect to everybody involved. I think he's straight up making a play. I saw because what prompted me to do it, I saw a video where they were saying that Cody had negotiated a contract for himself, separate and apart with TLC, right? And I appreciate the one of the members sent it to me. And oh, we got Megatron. Megatron is joining. Hold on one second. Let me pull her up. Hey, Megatron, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, welcome to. We got
Hey.
Negla and Megatron on the panel. If people want to join, you're more than welcome to click in. That's how we run the roundtable. So it's multiple people at the same time. It's not necessarily one on one. So just so you know. But just let me finish my thought real quick. We are when I'm fully aware that Cody is trying to set it up so that, like you said, and like I've been saying, like this shit is all part of the plan. TLC is the king of spinoff shows. They spin off everything. They had Seeking Sister Wives, now they got Seeking Brother Husband. They had 90 Day Fiance,
Really?
now they got 90 Day Fiance Other Way, 90 Day Fiance Single Life, 90 Day
Yeah,
Fiance Before the 90 Days, 90 Day Fiance
yeah,
Last Resort, 90 Day Fiance Hunt for Love, 90 Day Fiance. We're gonna go to Spain and 90 Day Fiance in the jungle, 90 Day Fiance on paradise, 90 Day Fiance on the moon. Like they 90 Day Fiance everything. I can't even watch that show anymore. It's so ridiculous. So I am under no illusion that TLC is desperately trying to figure a way that they can spin each one of these sister wives' independent lives into a reality show. Everybody on this show is getting a reality show. You understand what I mean? And I think that they're heavily invested in the idea that they're trying to recreate Cody and rebrand Cody for all new, brand new audience that they think they're going to derive from Special Forces and his other appearances.
Well, but haven't you ever heard of Jack of all trades, master of none?
Right.
And that's given. I mean,
he's not even a jack of trades. He's just the jackass of all the trades.
Yes. Yes, exactly. You're right.
He's just I just honestly think this show just delayed the inevitable. I think that the family was already split up because Janelle kind of split off for a while, and then in Christine's book, I don't know if you guys caught it, where it was a time where Janelle had already left, and then they moved, and then Mary stayed behind. So it really was just her, Cody, and the kids, because she ended up taking like some of Janelle's kids with her. And she was talking about how that was the best time of their marriage because it was just her. She was the only wife there. I just think the show just delayed what's happening. Like honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a good paycheck will stop a lot of stuff. They say money can't buy you happiness, but a damn sure buy you some time. And if you can't buy happiness, you sure as shit can rent it for a little while. And if they say you can't, then you just don't know where to shop. Give me some money, I'll show you how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I'm just like, because that was one of the points in the book that I had forgot to mention. I was like, oh, so Christine actually was the Robin to Janelle and Mary. That's why they didn't like her ass at first.
Right.
Yes. And
so
that's
it
why
makes
Mary
sense.
That's why Mary wanted somebody else. And that's why they got Christine, because Janelle and that's why, you know what I'm saying? That's why they brought Christine in. Christine was the last to come in before Robert.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, before we go any further, let me bring in one more person.
To come in before Robert.
What's going on, Linda? How you doing?
Right. Yeah. But before we go any further, let me bring in one more person.
And Linda.
Oh my God.
I told you. These roundtables gonna get wild, y'all.
Good morning. Hot mess. It's Saturday morning, so
that's right. I'm totally relaxed too. Okay? Y'all can't tell. I'm still in my pajamas.
Yeah, you got me. Hot mess Saturday morning. Let me see, make sure that this is working. Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you, James.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I don't know. Let me sign out and come back in, okay?
All right, I got you.
All right.
Lord, Linda, what you got going on, girl?
Too. She got that New York, Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I just love my sis.
They coming in with the fire. But yeah, she's gonna come back in. Yeah, but so what do you guys think? Like, because have you seen? Well, let me ask you guys this. And you guys can respond in the chat as well. Have you guys seen where? Hey, she's back. Linda's back.
Hi. Good morning, y'all.
Can you hear me now?
Hi, Linda.
I hear you. Hey, everybody.
Like the old Verizon commercials. Can you hear me now?
I think what it is, because I put it on YouTube and then I keep it on my phone so I could interact. I don't know. Maybe it's a mechanical thing, but I turn my TV off.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I was pleasantly surprised to get the alert. I'm like, Saturday morning, I'm usually on investigation, discovery, solving murders.
Oh, there you go. Making the world a
but I'd rather be with you. Listen, I wanted to be an FBI agent when I was a kid, okay? I was going to get rid of most of the evil in the world, so.
Right. Okay. But he was like, forget that.
But I'm liking the points everyone is making. And James, you just scared the bejesus out of me. Because as you're saying what TLC does and how they rehash and redo, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. He had to have renegotiated contract. I don't know if you think you said someone gave you the info on that.
Right.
So it's a reality.
Well, it's still implied because That's
Okay.
kind of what prompted the whole thing, because what I'm seeing, and I've been noticing this, but I've seen an increase or uptick, at least for me, that
Hmm.
there's a lot of clickbait, um, like stories and videos that are coming out trying to encourage people who are interested in sister wives to click onto these particular sites where
True.
they'll say things like, oh, Robin and Cody's, like, this is one of the examples. Robin and Cody's contract with TLC has been canceled and they
I
will
got
no
that.
longer appear on the show. They've been fired, right? So the
Hmm.
money train has stopped, which a lot of people who want to see the comeuppance of Robin and Cody and may not be intimately familiar with the day-to-day of what's going on because they don't really pay attention. They just kind of pay attention. They might
Hmm.
fall into that category. And one of my concerns with that is that it might become part of the Sister Wives canon lore, where people just say, oh, yeah, remember when their contract got canceled? Their contract was never canceled. They're filming season 21 right now. And it's 20. Last I checked, it's 2025, unless I'm in some kind of weird time dimension shift. Like,
Mm.
so their contract is still in full effect. The one thing is that they have new contracts because their money, in order for them to switch, they're not just switching bank accounts, like, because that was ingrained in their contracts that the money would go to Cody Brown LLC, Cody Brown Entertainment LLC. That was part of their
Right.
contract. So they would have to give them new contracts in order for that money to come out. Now, if
Hmm.
Christine and Janelle are smart, they renegotiated their contract and they're making more money now because they're
You just
main drivers in the show.
you hit the word smart. I don't think they're as smart as we think they are, although they might be slick. So I think it was Miss Negler that said that Christine was like the Robin to them.
Right. When she
I,
first came
I
into the family.
I kind of got that when I did like a little re-listen, because I have to be honest, I haven't turned on the audio to go forward, because Daisy said something that resonated, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy." Just to like get a little off topic. She really pointed out that Christine was acting just like Cody when she started her courtship and marriage to David. Like, out
Mhm.
of her mouth, she said she didn't care how her children felt. She didn't care if they were uncomfortable with the PDA, that it was all about her now. And that went over my head
Mm.
until Daisy pointed it out. And I'm like, look at the pattern of abuse continuing.
Right.
Maybe not to the extent, but what their abuse is, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's psychological, which for any child welfare agency would have to have a really good social worker to point that out, to do like the psychosocial assessment so any charges could be brought against the parents. And that's what's like slipping through the cracks.
Right. Right.
And
Because even with that, the one thing, because we kind of talked about this last week with regard to the like a lot of the strain that's placed on a lot of the like CPS, child protective services, and that their budgets are so limited.
underfunded
Yeah,
everywhere.
crazy. It's insane. Like, it's so crazy. Because 9 times out of 10, when something happens, the first thing everybody says, "Where were the people who were supposed to be watching out for this? This been reported." And
They have 89,000 cases and 3 people working on it. That's what's
right,
going
right.
on.
And they're all over the place. So what happens is a lot of these stories, like when they come in, and and this is the thing that it bothers me to the point where, like, it infuriates me, pisses me off, and it makes me sad all at the same time, is that you all have children who are undergoing things, going through things, and because they aren't bleeding or damn near dying, they look at their cases and say, well, it's not that bad.
Not that
They'll be
bad.
okay. They'll survive. They're not going, they might be maladjusted. They might need tons and tons of therapy, but this isn't going to kill them outright.
Exactly. They have to focus on the cases where the child is in physical imminent danger, which
Mhm.
pisses me off too. And I was thinking back, someone put in the comments about the Ruby Frank case, but the only reason that exploded is because the child escaped and was able to ask for help.
And it was
And
all
it was
caught
Which is
on
visible,
camera.
and it was also visible neglect. For example,
correct.
they didn't talk about until, like, I think it was the first book, how they would like buy a bag of freeze dried potatoes or whatever, potato flakes or whatever, and then that's all they would get. What's her name? The stinky ones, Padron.
McKelty.
Thank you, McKelty. They look like they don't shower very regularly. Anyway, I mean they're nice, but I'm making an observation. At least he don't. Anyway,
Mama, do you have smell-o-vision?
But no. But my point is though, she was talking when her mother Christine was talking about how they would have to buy, like they would go and they would either get it from the pantry or they would buy like a whole big old burlap sack full of freeze-dried potatoes. That was dinner. You get what I mean, things like that technically could be seen as abuse. I'm sorry, not abuse, neglect. Not abuse, neglect. As far as not adequately feeding your children. I mean, imagine if I had 11 kids and, was living, I don't know, rural Mississippi or something like that. Children's service is going to be breathing down my neck. But because they're where they are, they don't have that, you know what I mean? They don't have that attention focused on them.
And even now, I don't know if you guys know, but like if your child, like these well child visits, back then we didn't have to go to well child visits every, so often, blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
now, like if you don't take your child to the doctor, that's neglect. The school will report it. And
Yep.
also, if your child is too heavy, that's also like you can get in trouble for that too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, was there some kind of like privilege going on? Because a lot of times you see that in the inner city, in the inner city areas where like if your child is too heavy, that's neglect. If the child is underweight, that's neglect, like you were saying. But I'm wondering if it's a state by state thing, because Utah, I don't know. Because I think Utah's a red state, right?
Well, it's
yes.
it's Mormon, yeah.
Yes.
So
But
I'm wondering if that's because I know I'm from North Carolina, but and I was always a heavy child, and they would give my mom hell. You're like, oh, she gained 10 pounds, blah 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 blah. And so I just remember as a kid, my mom saying like, we gotta get your weight down because they can take you from me.
But can I ask you, Megatron? And I'm not. First of all, I do not judge. My mother came from 11. My father came from 21. Okay, so you know what I mean. I don't judge. But the food that, at least in America, my father was from South America. My mother was from Mississippi, and the food that was available, besides the food that they would get, my grandparents were sharecroppers. So besides the food that they could grow or whatever, if somebody gave them a meal from McDonald's or what have you, you know what I mean? McDonald's might be the only inexpensive thing that you have that you can feed your children. That's not healthy.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And then,
right. So in concept, so let me give you a visual. I'm from North Carolina. My mom's from North Carolina. Dad's from Texas. We were farmers, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was always bigger than kids my age. We ate fresh food off the farms. Like we grew everything. Mm-hmm. I'm just a bigger person. Naturally. My dad is 6'7" and weighed 300 pounds. My grandfather was 6'9". He weighed 380 pounds. My uncle was 6'6". He was about 6'6". He was the shorter one. He weighed 400 pounds. And so like my family were just bigger people. And it was, I played all the sports. I played basketball. I played volleyball. I played softball. I was a very active kid. I worked on the farm, sun up to sundown. I was just a bigger kid. It wasn't that I was being abused or neglected. Sure. That's just how my body was archetyped as. Right. And you had these thin Asian doctors saying, oh, she's, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, she's active. She's moving. Even now, like I have no health issues, no diabetes, no blood pressure, like none of that. And then you have my sister who's way thinner, diabetic, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, but I was always active, and I'm still active, because of my kids. And so, and I'm just wondering if, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of the stereotypes that are put on like larger people were just like, I don't know, in other people's head. Like, this is my idea of what you should look like and weigh. So I'm
Look
going
at
to project
Lizzo.
that onto you. You know what I'm
Look at
saying?
look
You're
at
right.
Lizzo. That woman
Megatron.
can get girl. She can get down. I can get down, but I can't get up.
Yeah, like, and that gave me a complex as a kid. Like, oh, this doctor's always telling me I'm overweight. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, and now I have my mom panicking, thinking, oh, they're gonna take her from me. Let me make her go on a diet. Like, I was miserable as a teenager.
Right.
Because I mean,
Megatron, you said something really interesting. Let me just interrupt you right quick because I've never seen, so I code medical records for New York City Health and Hospital. So I get to read everything. Generally, and also what Ms. Negla said, when they do the child welfare check, right, and they see like there's just like very little food or not enough, they would recommend that the child get family could have more access to food. They call it now food insecurity. Now
Right.
for the overweight kids, I've seen in the chart where they say the child is overweight, but they also do the testing. Now, mind you, we're a city hospital, so we don't have the resources that the private hospitals have, like we get funding and whatever. I've never seen where they wanted to take a child away because the child was obese, because now they do the testing. And if everything is good, you know, the blood, the cholesterol, then they have to look at the family and tree, see the archetype. So I know this wasn't done when you were younger, but this is the first time I'm hearing about that. And I'm just wondering if this was the pressure, because once you said thin Asian doctors, you hit the head. Because I once had a GYN who was Asian, and I'm Puerto Rican. We have a certain body type. You know, we also have the West African DNA. So we have like wider hips, wider bones. And this woman was always trying to get me to lose weight. I'm like, ma'am, I have never been thin my whole life, even as a teenager. I've been either full or thick. And she would get on my case to try to lose 20, 30 pounds. And, I switched off because I'm like, just take care of my women parts and just leave my weight alone. You know, everything else is good. So
Mind your
you're
business.
saying
Mind
something
your
very
business.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you're saying you both are bringing up some very interesting things. And I think just to tie it all back, the problem is that there is no federal laws when it comes to child protection. It's state by state.
Right.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
also like in New York, it could be what New York City does, and upstate New York could do something
Totally.
different.
Rochester and Brooklyn are not going to have the same. You
That's
get what I'm
right.
saying?
Yes, ma'am, because
Gotcha.
I'm originally from Brooklyn. Absolutely.
Well, because it would actually be,
Absolutely.
it's not just state by state, but as you were pointing out, it's actually a county by county. Let me bring
Yes.
in local art switch. She's coming into the conversation. Hey, local art switch, how you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Yes,
Oh,
we can.
I
Oh,
want to be
yes,
where
there
you
I
are.
am.
That
Yeah,
weather
oh,
is gorgeous. Oh,
isn't it beautiful? The
jeez.
trees are starting to change up here. We're very lucky.
Oh, that's right.
So
She's
I'm
north of
wearing,
border, so she's in the
yes. So we get you can't see it where I am, but the trees are changing really brightly. And it's, I don't think it's hunting season, but I'm being extra careful
yeah.
because
You better.
poachers are
You
gonna
better.
poach, right?
Yeah. Please don't do
or,
that
or,
on the stream.
or cut down a straight tree, maybe.
Yeah, please, and don't be cutting down no trees. Don't be attacking trees like Cody.
I
All these
know. I
trees will
think
have to go.
my husband has been cutting down some trees, the widow makers and stuff. And every time he gets near a tree, I think of Cody Brown. I really do. I'm
Uh,
like, what is it with you
That
disliking the
moron.
trees?
right.
Yes, like him cutting down the tree and getting the chainsaw stuck in the tree lives rent free in my head. Like, because he tried to kick it out while it was still on and it went flying and Robin was nearby. I'm like, oh my land. I
Yeah.
know this was filmed a long time ago and we didn't hear anything about them being hospitalized. So obviously they're okay. But my anxiety was like,
You know what it
so
is? It's
hi.
like when you watch your kids do something, you're like, oh, if this goes
Mm,
wrong,
yes,
You know
come
something's
here.
going to happen.
Come
your
here.
whole life flashes before your eyes
Right.
in an instant, right? Yes.
Well, we
Yes.
were
Sorry, I'm late. Yes.
no, we were actually in the process of talking about like the different jurisdictions because the question that came up with regard to like Truly, and would they film this later on, and like would they film how much of the custody battle will we see on Sister Wives? And I think that it's a viable topic for them to discuss, but
I don't think we will.
Yeah, I don't think that. Well, I'll say it this way: I think that Cody will push for it to be on. And at first, I was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, there's no way he's gonna want to talk about it." But he absolutely will want to talk about it. Why?
Yep.
Because he has protections from the court that prevents Christine from saying anything negative about him with
Bingo.
regard to Truly.
And from
So-
telling
Yes,
her side, which is her truth, her truth.
Yes.
There's her truth, his truth, and God's truth. But
Yeah.
he might say it, and he's going to say it just so he don't cross the line. But he knows Christine is not going to come close because she doesn't want to lose Truly, and she also, I don't want to say has less pull, but he's doing something to somebody over there.
But do you think
yes,
that's
and
why her kids are starting to come out and go at him like Peyton and McKelty are starting to speak back up now after a while of being silent?
Well, I think that they might be coming out because he is becoming more predominant, and his whole redemption arc is starting to take hold. Like it's becoming the main focus in a lot of the sister wife fandom, as well as you can see it in the progression of the show, as well as him being tied into other shows.
But
And
are
he's
people falling for it?
Huh?
Are people falling? I mean, are people really falling for his BS?
Well, we'll
If they don't know him, yeah.
At this point, it's TBD.
I'm not sure how much we need people to fall for it so much as people being interested in his character. Like he does bring views, right? He's just so out there and so bizarre that I could see him just people going there for the dumpster fire.
To see the train wreck. Yeah, I got you.
To see the train wreck. I totally see that. And I do see them very likely using Truly's. I don't think they should. I think it should stay offline, but I see them using it because A, it's content. I know that's really awful, and I hate that I'm saying it, but you know, it's content for the show. It fills in some, like, because this show honestly is a pretty boring show. There's so much repetition, so many flashbacks, so many, like, how much new footage do we get to see every episode? It's pretty minimal, right? So it gives interest. Yeah, and then he can sort of play it however he wants. And if you're a good parent going through this, or you're trying to be, you're going to try to not demean the parent that you're going to divorce, do custody battle with, right? You don't want to set your child on a certain path. Now, luckily, Truly has seen a lot and has absorbed that, hopefully. But like when my parents were getting divorced, my father was not scared to demean, diminish. Like if he could say something negative about my mother, he would. And I remember believing it because I had, once I was in foster care, I would see my dad every other weekend. And then on the opposing weekends, I was supposed to see my mother. I found my court documents recently, and I've been reading through them. I'm glad that Truly's is being really hidden. I can't believe that they're apparently normally easily accessed, because for a minor, it should not be. These documents are answering questions for me, but they hurt to read.
Right.
It hurts to read how, I was not supposed to be in the foster system at all. I was supposed to be under the custody of my father. Even social services did not know where I was. And that explains actually a lot, because when I went to college, at least in Canada, if you're in foster care, college is paid for. You don't pay for it. So I have this enormous, it's much smaller now, but I had an enormous student loan that I shouldn't have had to have because my dad never took care of me. And here I am because he played the game well enough, I guess. So he made it, like, I was reading through it's so funny and not funny. I was reading through the documentation of things that my mother had to do in order to allow visitation. And it's like, she must have her hair like this. And like, some of it makes sense. Make sure she's clean. Her hair is clean. She's fed. And I'm also reading documentation from the school that I was in at the time. and it's going on about how I was always dirty, and I wasn't potty trained, or like nobody was doing anything with me. I got my laundry and hygiene dealt with at the school. The school fed me. So he was putting in these rules and he wasn't obeying them himself. And I'm like, how dare you? And he died 3-4 years ago. And I'm like, I can't even yell at you because you're dead, you a-hole. Like,
Right.
So I'm glad it's being protected. I've seen some people allege that it must be because it's a serious case or something really nefarious happened.
No.
I'm hoping it's just because she's sort of a public figure.
Right. Right.
People are going to be digging, and we shouldn't be able to do that. Like, it gives me so much anxiety to think that somebody could find my documents and read what I told investigators all those years ago.
Well,
Like,
just in a sense of, like I said earlier, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, if it's not like, first and foremost, when it comes to family court and you're dealing with the custody of children, the first thing that the primary objective of those courts is the best interest of the child, full stop. They don't give a shit if it's inconvenient for the parents, mom and dad. I got stuff to do. I don't care. It's in the best interest of the child. So
yes.
in that respect, in order for them to be able to film and put, excuse me, I'm sorry.
I thought that was me. I have exactly that ringtone.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah. But in order for like a YouTuber, like if I wanted to get the court records, I would have to be able to go to the court and say, it's in Truly's best interest that I know about this so I can share it on my YouTube channel. And this will help Truly in this way. And in most cases, like, this is not going to help Truly because it's only going to go further to embarrass and humiliate her, because she may take personally, like, while I'm attacking, at the end of the day, I see Cody as an asshole, right?
Yep.
But if I'm attacking Cody on behalf of Truly, she may take that personally because that's still her father. Like, I look at him like he's an asshole. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He half man and all that other stuff. But when push comes down to shove, that's still her dad. And
it's
I would have to be able to say that me being able to call him an asshole is benefiting her.
Yes.
And I think that's all.
And she sees enough
interesting.
of that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Linda.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll be real quick. What's interesting in my experience, what I have found is children who grew up with like more typical or normal parents, they are very easily able to like distance themselves if and when they need to. Children who grow up in trauma, we have like a codependent, insecure attachment, and we are so willing to work so hard for crumbs, for anything. And that's why I think I see why Christine's children worked as hard as they did for as long as they did, because of course they did. Like Janelle's boys allegedly had a good experience with him. Anyway, a good bringing up with Cody. And I think that's when the difference with COVID happened. That's when they really saw him for the first time. So I think that's why
he wasn't the same. Can I just? He wasn't the same father, because when he got with Robert and her family, that was a different Fauntleroy than the one they grew up with Cody Brown, the father that they loved. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't always in there, because you can't change a person. They are who they are. But they grew up with the loving. I mean, I remember seeing there's a picture of, it wasn't Garrison, somebody on his back, like, you know what I mean? He used to take him on work trips with him, and they grew up with a different father than who he became. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. What you're saying is
according
true.
to Christine's book, he really won't never there. He's just fronting for the cameras.
Right. Well, because
McKelty said the same.
True.
Let me give my perspective on this, because I think everybody is kind of right, but in my opinion, just my opinion, in a group of 5 people,
you have a take.
but in my opinion, I think that what happened was, if you listen to what he was saying previously, when he was talking about taking the girls out for the girls' night out with dad, dinner with dad or whatever, on a date, dad-daughter date, and he eventually took Logan too because he was a second dad. But when that happened, the women were complaining that he never really bonded with the girls. See, I think what happened was you had two studs at the house in Janelle's children, Logan, who did wrestling and football, and then Hunter, who excelled in wrestling, which was right in the lane of where Cody was because he was a state champion, and then he had a child who was on his way to become a state champion. So reliving his childhood and seeing, because I can see Cody in the stand. That's my boy. That's my boy. That's my thing. You know,
Don't even, I ain't seen him in a month, but that's your boy.
Right.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think that Janelle's experience, and I think this all ties into how the different approaches to Cody comes out. Janelle's experience with Cody is completely different than Christine's experience with Cody.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sitting
Agreed.
all the children and watching all the children. Cody was the one who was coming by Janelle's house more because she had the boys and he could relive his history through his sons.
Bingo.
Whereas Christine didn't. She had all the girls. So,
which Peyton touches on that. Peyton touches on that because he's Christine's only boy.
Right. And he wasn't interested in coming over to her house because she didn't have anything he was interested in. He was
and you know what? And
so I think their relationship was different.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say real quick. And now that they've become adults and men and successful men, what's his name is a doctor. I mean, you know what I mean? They're all successful grown men. There's that Icarus factor to where you get too close to the sun, I gotta clip your wings. And that's what happened during COVID. Oh no, y'all becoming too successful, y'all becoming too famous, y'all becoming too this, that, and the other, y'all becoming too much like me. So he clipped their wings, kicked them out of the trailer.
Oh, you remember Garrison and them? Well, Garrison and Gabe had a problem because they weren't rising to the same level.
They weren't manly like he felt like they should have been.
Yeah. Wait, was that Negla who said that about the boy's success? I think you just sparked something. I think you're onto something because if you look at Cody, his interest waned as the kids got older. And he liked to focus on the little ones. So there are these parents, both mothers and daughters, that love their kids when they're little, when they depend on them, and once they get old and have a career. I would venture to say that there was some jealousy, that Cody is seeing these boys succeed on their own. Remember, they're not in polygamy. And in polygamy, a man doesn't have to do jack squat. And he's, the priesthood leader, but he relies on the women. Here are his men child that, his male child that are men, and they're on their own.
His loin.
Right. Logan I didn't know Logan was a doctor, but he went out to be successful. Garrison, as a young man, God bless his soul, he bought a house on his own.
Highly decorated military.
Let's not even talk about that. Let's just talk about the everyday fundamental. He got a house on his own. He was moving, and that was the one that I saw Cody attacking the most. He would throw Gabe in. I don't know what Gabe was doing. He was
no. Let me stop you there. Cody only started messing with Garrison because Garrison was calling Robin out from day one. Garrison and Gabe were the two that would read Robin for what she really was, and Cody didn't bother them until they started calling Robin out.
Right.
Well, that's what that wasn't about them excelling above him. That was about, you've made my wife unhappy. You're not safe for my wife.
Well, I mean, I think that everybody has a piece of the pie, because if you put it all together, you have Gabe and Garrison. They didn't receive the same level of attention that Hunter and Logan received.
True.
Right up front, but they were present. Because when Cody comes over to see Gabe or come to see Logan and Hunter at Janelle's house, Gabe and Garrison are there. So they benefit from his presence when he comes over to see their brother.
True.
Right? Their brothers. As they get older, Garrison was very outright, call it what it was. He was very forward with a lot of his opinions, right? Didn't hold back.
Yeah.
I think that did spark some resentment. But I think that what really bothered him was a lot of their success, the things that they were achieving were things that he couldn't take credit for.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bingo,
There you
bingo.
go.
Absolutely.
Of him.
James is on it today.
The three
Yeah.
mothers could, but he couldn't. I
Right.
wasn't there when you did this. I wasn't.
Yes.
Well, because
And
what
it was
did he do? Like Garrison went out, he joined the military against Cody's wishes. Cody didn't want him in the military.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No,
yeah, I
he
didn't know
didn't.
that either.
Right. He
They
enlisted
all,
early and then he started his career. And then, that was against Cody's wishes. I want you to go to college. Now I'm going to get enlisted in the military. He enlisted in the military. He comes out. He starts working. Then he, don't buy a truck. Because remember, he said, I got the truck he told me not to get. The truck.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
And then he went against that. So now he's driving around. Cody telling him not to get a car.
That's so stupid.
Right, hypocrite. But he went out and did that on his own and was paying that bill. Then he went out and got himself a house. How long had it been? Cody didn't have a house until he was in his 30s.
Yep.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was thinking too.
In his 20s, and he's doing it against everything that Cody is telling him to do.
It's telling him.
Advice. So that flies directly in his face. So that bruises his ego. And then on top of that, you're gonna criticize the woman who I'm holding up, who's holding me down. But however.
No, literally, she's holding him down.
right.
You gonna criticize her, my queen, coming at my queen, and now I have a reason to say I don't like you. Because again, when Cody gets offended, looking at how he's been throughout the time he's been on the show, Cody, when he comes at people, if you notice, his problem with people is never about him. His problem with somebody else is about how you treated somebody else. You mistreated Robin. That's why I don't like you. You didn't do the kids right. That's why I don't like you. You don't get along with your sister wives. That's why we don't get along. It's not because I'm an asshole and we having a disagreement. It's because you're not getting along with them.
That's because Cody has never
done. Cody has never done anything wrong before in his life, and if people would just understand.
Yes,
then he wouldn't be in this situation. Yes,
you know what?
Why haven't we seen it?
Yeah, James, you just also sparked something. Remember how Janelle was going on about how the move was going to affect Gabe, and then we found out everything that he lost?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if this man was not sabotaging his children on purpose.
That was Robin sabotaging them kids because they was outshining hers.
Yeah. But Cody went along with it. At the end of the day, those are Cody's sons. And how many fathers do you know do not want to see their son? Let's just talk about sons. Let's not talk about children in general. How many men would not want to see and be proud that their son is succeeding? Gabe was getting what? A scholarship. They were looking at him for something. Like the man, like he was going to explode in a good way. God bless him.
But they moved for a child who's not even biologically his.
Exactly. And my thing is this: I think, in a way, Robin is the perfect excuse for Cody to destroy his children's lives because this man is jealous of his own children.
Yes.
Of his grown.
They both were. They both were jealous of his kids. To be honest,
Robin is not the blood. This is what I'm saying. This is the blood of your blood. And how do you want to destroy them? Not for nothing. Remember that Maddie moved close to them when they were in Nevada? Yeah. And she's like, so I moved so my child could benefit from his grandparents. And like a year later, he decides to move and she was losing her mind. But if the fact that, just going to what Megatron is saying, the fact that he could move away from his only grandchild, destroy his son's opportunities and whoever else, and use Robin as the excuse, because I don't think
he did it for love. He did it for the love of Robin. All she had to do was complain about it, and he gave her every whim. You got to think she's the mastermind. He's
Let's
the
think about
puppet.
this. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe the mastermind is Cody and Robin is the convenient excuse. I really don't think
Yes.
No,
that
Robin.
Robin
No,
has
she was
him
in
by
that.
the neck.
We know
No,
her
that Robin
character
has
enough by
Cody
now.
by that neck.
Mm.
I don't know. I think we're giving
Robin
Robin
was
a little too much
Because
credit.
if
I
she
think
was
Cody
against it, he
is
wouldn't have done it.
Robert was worried about securing her bag for her and her
absolutely.
Her
pieces of
kids.
luggage. That's it. That's it. And that's all. That's all.
Well, let me
That's
ask
only.
you
It's
guys
not a
this.
mastermind or nothing. If
Mm.
you were worried about that, that's what's going to be your priority, and that's all she worried about. She didn't care about none. McKelty, Payton. Nope. My bag. My refrigerator. My bag.
Yeah.
Well, hold
bad.
on. Let
Yes.
me ask you guys this. Well, first, Linda, to add to your point, it wasn't just damn, I forgot her name that quick. The daughter you just mentioned.
Maddie.
Maddie. Thank you.
Mm.
It wasn't just Maddie. It was also Aspen and her husband moved to Las Vegas too.
Yep.
Oh, I
Instead of
didn't remember that. Okay. Remember, I
yeah,
didn't continue watching. Okay.
yeah, they moved there too. So it wasn't just that he left Madison. He also left Aspen. But let me ask you guys this question, just to kind of so we can kind of get a feel for where we are. There was a subtle implication. Actually, I think you brought it up, Linda, when we were talking about the prospect that perhaps Cody was cheating.
Yes.
Can we agree that there's a possibility that Cody might have been stepping out?
Oh,
Because of
hell
the
yeah.
the familiarity that he was having, especially as these stories start coming out about him riding chicks
Mm.
to work. Like, bruh, you riding women to work. My dude, if you riding women to work and you got ladies so comfortable, the woman that you riding to work is so comfortable, she could call your house with your
Mm.
wife home.
With three of them, three
Yeah,
wives.
you got
James,
hens
let's
in the
keep it a
house.
buck.
And
James,
you
let's
got the
keep it a
fox
buck.
calling.
He was messing with Robin. Let's keep it a buck. He didn't just kiss Robin.
Right.
He was kissing certain other areas, and she was too, with certain other body parts, way before that little funky ass
Mm.
wedding ceremony with them ugly ass dresses. Okay, so let's just keep that a buck.
Do you think
He
that he
just
was
wanted to make
seeing
it
somebody
official.
else other than Robin though? After he
I
met
think
Robin?
so.
I
You know
think
Duh,
what?
so.
You know,
I
duh.
think so.
that's something to think about. I think so. I think because Robin could not have that much power to get him away from both of his girls. And especially, I know that he loved Aspen more than all the other girls. Like that was his baby doll. Um, and remember the leverage that Robin has over Cody. You almost killed my son. Let's not forget Dayton's accident. Dayton almost lost his eye. He could have
Yeah,
lost his life. She
Right.
got
yeah.
some pretty guilt that she could throw back at him. She got more leverage than her punani. Let's look at that. But I think Cody, we're not giving him enough credit for like look at him as like this evil mastermind, like for a minute. And what do? They use other people's behavior to hide theirs, you know? So
Yeah.
please
You just
say
described
we know
Robin
it's
to a
for
T.
Robin, but he's just letting it happen because that's what Robin wants. But in reality, that's what he wants. I think he really wanted to destroy Gabe's chances at having that success. How much success could Cody deal with? He had like 3 bright, shining sons, and he had nothing to do with that success. You pointed that out, James. So he's not
Yep.
going to want to continue to see that success because he can't glorify it and he can't quantify it on the show.
Well,
Well,
I
let me.
think it was also, oh, sorry,
No,
James.
go
I
ahead. Go ahead.
think
Look,
part of it was when Gabe was getting his potential scholarship, like Cody qualified for something similar, but from what I understand, he was at a much smaller school. So Gabe getting it was honestly a little bit more impressive.
right.
Right. And so I do think it was jealousy. I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
he sees himself as like, oh, I had all these responsibilities and I couldn't carry on my wrestling or whatever it is. And
Mm.
these boys are just doing this, that. I didn't have my house at this age. I had to live in Janelle's house or whatever.
Yeah, he
And
had
I
to
do
get
think that
married to
was,
get a house.
Yeah.
yeah, I had
Cody
to, yes,
Cody is the guy. He reminds me of the guy that peaks in high school and spends the rest of
Yes.
his adult life
Exactly.
talking about
Yes.
what he did, what
Exactly.
he had. But
well, I
honestly,
think,
I just feel like him and Robin are equally jealous
yes,
of those kids. They're equally responsible for sabotaging those kids. Because look, what are her adult kids doing? Nothing.
Nothing.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
she
that's
was
what's
just as
funny.
jealous and just as deceptive as he was in getting those kids messed up. Well, they thought they was getting those kids messed up and sabotaged. I think they were equally
Well,
responsible, truth be told.
Well, what's odd about it, like I completely agree with you that there's a lot of jealousy. In the first seasons, it felt like Robin was sort of flirting with Logan a little bit, and maybe I'm reading into it. Maybe that's not
Really?
what was happening. Yeah, it felt a little flirty. It felt like she was trying to ingratiate herself, especially to those older boys,
That's
in a
true.
really weird
That's
way.
true.
Like
Yeah. Okay.
it was odd. But my confusion with the jealousy, which I do believe is happening, to be clear, is you you're comparing your kids to these other kids, and why are you stifling them so much so they can't even have the potential to go and succeed? Like
I want you to do
you're shooting
good, just
yourself
not
in the
better than
foot.
me. That's the
Yes,
mind frame. I
Well,
want you to do
yes,
good. I just don't want you to do better than me.
right,
yeah,
right.
Bingo.
But let's
Bingo.
let's let's take it step by step because one, I think you kind of hit it on the head, look, arts with the idea that well, let's take a step back. Can we all agree that Cody can be manipulative, and he was manipulating these women long before Robin came into the picture?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
wait, I
Absolutely.
have one.
Okay,
I do have one question actually for you, because I do believe he played them against each other. He
Yeah.
made sure that he complained about being like the main thing in the wheel, right? Where all the spokes are facing him.
right, the hub,
But
and they're
he
the spokes.
fashioned it that way on purpose. He wanted to be the sun with the planets gravitating around him.
Right,
But
That's what their religion teaches, and I'm not mocking their religion, but
yeah,
that's what they teach.
yeah,
right,
but he's like going on like it shouldn't be like that. But he's also like telling this one person, like he said, oh, there's five truths and I have to decide on the best truth. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But when I think about it, and two people can have, I agree with Mary, two people can experience the same thing, but process it very differently. So
Absolutely.
just based on their own child, whatever's going on. So like if like I've seen Cody run around, and like he doesn't, I do believe he's manipulating these people, playing people against people, but he does not seem bright enough to be doing what he's doing. It feels like
Oh,
some
don't
mega mind type.
underestimate him. No, no, no. No, let's not
You
underestimate him.
mad
He's
because Forrest
smarter.
is getting away with everything?
well,
Listen, Cody
that
was
was my
stealing
next
these
point.
women money. Cody
Yeah.
was calling them names, and they was
Yes,
willingly giving it to him. Like Cody's smarter than we
yes,
think he is. Truth be
Oh,
told.
yeah.
that's the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because
Yeah.
but isn't that
Yeah.
isn't that one part of the manipulation? Because if you think about it,
Yes.
what's the old saying? The greatest trick the devil ever performed was make people think that he
Could
doesn't
believe he didn't
didn't
exist.
exist. Yes,
right. And when like even now when we talk about it, like I stopped doing this a while ago. But if I go to most forums and I talk to most people and I'm describing like different households, the moniker that I will use is always at Christine's house, at Mary's house, at Janelle's house, at Robin's house, the McMansion, right? And now the
hmm
new spot, the shit show chateau.
The
Right,
McPalace. I call it the McPalace.
right. But
Palace.
when you talk about it, everything that happened was all for Cody's benefit. Cody benefited from everything that occurred. When they moved to Vegas, that benefited Robin, sure, because she was moving closer to her family. But it also put Cody away from the church where he would have been under somebody else's authority. It gave him his own spot where his own little fiefdom in
Yes,
Las Vegas. Remember, he was saying, if the Mormons, if the AUB want to come down here, we can have church at our house, and and that puts him in the first priesthood spot in Vegas.
yes,
He basically becomes the AUB
Ah.
franchise owner,
Mm-hmm.
right? The AUB branch in Vegas.
hmm
So He benefited because it put him into the city where he could live his high fly lifestyle. Is far away from more like Utah, any part of Utah versus Las Vegas. Like
Yeah.
that puts him right in the middle of where he wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
When he moved to Arizona, he was able to get those women's money out of their houses. So it wasn't just the fact that Robin wanted to go and get her kid into school. It was also the fact that he could get siphon money away from these women without them ever realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Had they stayed in Vegas,
That's a pimp move.
yeah, and Gabe would have been able to go to school and all that other stuff. Janelle would have owned that house. That was a problem. Janelle owned that house. He didn't have his name on Janelle's house. He didn't have his name on Christine's house. He had his name on 2 pieces of property of the 4. Mary's because
Mary
he
and Robert.
Mary, and when she got divorced, she never took his name off for whatever reason.
But the thing is, Mary already had her own bag. Mary already had her own back money. That's the thing he didn't really count on. Mary put Leon through college, not him.
Right.
But she had her own.
But
well, she should have had because she was getting the same share as the mom with 6 kids. So if you could put your own child to school, then what the hell you doing with your money?
No. But she was still putting in like she had 6 kids like Christine. Mary was still putting in 50%. Christine putting in 50%, but she got 6 little mouths coming out. Mary putting in 50%. She only got 1 mouth coming out.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So when the money's divided, Christine's money is not going to go as far as Mary.
Correct.
So whereas Christine needs help with college or whatever, Mary really shouldn't because she had the extra money built in. You see what I'm saying? Does it make sense?
No, no, because she still had Leon to take care of.
Yeah, but she only had 1
Leon
child.
was off
But
to
she
college,
only had
though,
1 child.
Yeah.
Well, let me interject something James said. I think we're missing it. Where Cody realized the house is in Janelle's name. Janelle had her house in her name, and who else had their house in their name? Christine. I think he, let's give him credit. He's sitting down and doing the math because he knows that sooner or later the gravy train is going to end. Mary is going to wake up and stop putting in the 50% because how often is she going to get spit on? And just sidebar, I just realized I wasn't really seeing her point. Because even though she had 1 child, I'm like, why do you want such a big house with all these rooms? But she always said it's for the other kids to come, which would probably Janelle's kids, because we know Christine's kids weren't going. But I think she was trying to get her own equity, except that the dumbass forgot to take Cody off of the deed.
Yes.
But I think Cody is sitting down calculating. And the one that he could always bamboozle was Janelle. Janelle thought that was her great friend, her best friend. Girl, please. Someone had separated. Yeah, someone had separated the wives by name. Like Robin was the love wife, Janelle was the sex wife, Christine was the mother wife, and Mary was the legal wife. And I think that Janelle overestimated her relationship with Cody because either she was blind or she was stupid, but I think she was blinded by arrogance that she never thought Cody would treat her the way he treated all the other wives because of all the many times she upped and left. But Cody was doing the math because remember, as they moved, they were still losing a lot of money. I know very little about mortgages, but I know a balloon mortgage is a money blaster. Like that will leave you broke. And the fact that the contract they had, if they didn't pay everything in full, they would lose everything regardless of what they already paid for. He was doing the math. And the fact that he took them down there. Now let's look at his personality. It's beyond narcissistic. That's an abusive person because anywhere we could, the information is out there. What does an abusive person do? They love bomb you and they isolate you. He isolated all them women. You went to a land that had no infrastructure, no electricity, no plumbing, no water. You were starting from scratch like pioneers. Get the hell out of here in 2024, 2025.
Yes. And that land too was not even made to be a living place of land. Like ignoring the coyote issue, the poop issue, whatever it was, they're not supposed to live on that land at all. So like, what are you doing? Like this makes absolutely no sense, but I think that's on purpose. But somehow he just, those women never looked at a contract for whatever reason. I
Right. Well, they
don't.
trusted him. They trusted him, which is part of
They
it.
trusted him, which is like a long history of like he keeps effing you over,
Right.
and you keep not figuring it out. And I get wanting to believe the best in a person, but at some point, you know, I don't believe in that slap the other cheek and let you do it 40 times or whatever. Like eventually I need to be like, no, this isn't okay at this time. Like,
Well,
and
can I? But honestly, and I really do believe, and I think even Fauntleroy said he really didn't mean it when he said it. They really did love him. I believe that a
yeah,
part of him loved each of them, but it's sort of like being in a domestic or DV, relationship. And I'm not
yep,
saying that that's what it was, but
It
it's
was.
like, right. But I mean, it's kind of like, okay, you have the rage stage, and then there's the honeymoon phase, and then it slowly and
mm,
gradually goes back into that rage stage. And they
yep,
really wanted to. I mean, if I got 6 kids with a man, okay,
yeah,
we might have argued about, you didn't pay the light bill, so the lights was off for 2 days or whatever. We might argue about that. But at the end of the day, do I really want to lose this person? You do a cost benefit
yeah,
analysis. Okay, I'll go back. And the
yeah.
problem is that cycle kept happening over and over again.
Yes, with the love
And
bombing, I think you guys are onto something with like a trauma bond type of situation
yes,
because, moving to where'd they move to? Was it Flagstaff when he was telling Christine it would be like her birthday every day or something? One
Oh
of
my
their
God, the way
moves.
he
oh, he did
lied.
say that. Yes.
Ooh.
He
Well, let me
did.
bring in
So,
And
Carmen Cuties, what part of the mod squad.
yes.
hey,
Hello, Carmel. Um,
Hello,
I did
hello,
want to ask
hello.
real quick. Hi.
But just to nail down something that was said earlier, Lady, you had a question about like the
Carmen.
balloon payments or whatever.
yeah,
Typically it's called an ARM, which is a adjustable rate mortgage, which is a short-term loan, preferably for investors. So people who flip houses, for instance, or construction people will take out an adjustable rate mortgage on a home to purchase it. You usually, like you'll purchase the home, you basically pay on interest. You're not paying any principal on said loan. That's why the payments are considerably lower than, say, a standardized or a conventional loan, right? Where you pay 15 years, 30 years, you pay the same amount for that. That usually has the interest and principal combined, as well as escrow combined, depending on your mortgage, combined into one payment. So it's a little more elevated. In the ARM, you pay just the interest. Now, the part of an ARM is usually you take those loans out for 3 to 5 years, right? And depending on where the market adjustable rate mortgage, depending on where the market's interest rate is, your mortgage could be very, very, very low, or it could be very, very, very high, depending on what the national interest rates are at the time. Now, when it comes to that, part of the problem that Cody would have is that when you get an ARM, you can take out equity loans on the home. As the houses increase in value, he could take out loans. Now, with Robin's house, and this is kind of the key part, Robin had, and this is documented, she had, well, I'll say allegedly, uh, she had liens against the house because of Dayton's accident,
true.
Yes.
right? And so
Oh,
when he said he stood there for his presentation, where we go one, we go all. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, if Robin had to, if they were at the end of their ARM, the term for their ARM, which is 5 years, they then have to purchase the home. So, so you would have to come up with a down payment if you're going to go convention, which would be smart. You don't get back into another ARM. But if you go into a conventional loan again, you have to come up with a down payment, usually 20%, so you can avoid paying the oh, the terms are slipping me all day. But so you can get away from having to pay for the insurance rate. So if you're not paying enough, the bank wants to make sure that you're going to pay. So they give you,
right.
you have to make an extra payment basically until you get to 20%. And once you put down to 20%, then you have that loan, but you have to do it on your credit and everything else. Like it's just like any other loan. Robin very well may not have qualified for another loan to be able to get that, purchase her house. So she was in jeopardy of losing her house. I think she might have been in jeopardy of losing her house in Vegas. And so, as a way for Cody
Spot
to
on.
save Robin and save face and get his money from these other women who are sitting there, because remember, in the book, Christine said what? Me and Janelle were talking. Janelle came to me and said, "Why don't we let them move out to Arizona and we stay in Vegas?" That
Oh
Amen.
cements the
shoot.
fact that they were thinking like that would have sparked to him like, well, shit, if they plan on staying in Vegas, that means that they have a choice, and they realize they have a choice, which is
Mm-hmm.
dangerous to me because those are my houses, right? So I want to make sure I get my money from them. So that's where the whole thing, like, and that's why I say, like, when we say we put so much onto Robin, which I think in some cases is justified. Like she's doing what she need to do for her. Like she's very selfish in that regard. But I don't think he's as blindly following her as we like to put on him. Like she's just
No,
kind
I
of
think they plan together.
hearing him.
Yeah, I think they're
That's
equally yoked
yeah, I
in
Yeah,
that
think
I think they
category.
plan together. I think because it benefits them both. But I'm just remembering his big presentation about moving in the first place, and it was like a slideshow and stuff, and all the women were like, Cody doesn't make slideshows and all these plans. And then they sussed out
Yeah.
that it was Robin that helped him with the
Um,
slideshow. And I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
wait,
No, I mean, I think she was in on it for sure. Like I think he
James, could
yeah.
you elaborate on them staying? I haven't gotten to that part. Why didn't Christine and Janelle stay behind?
Mary was gonna stay too.
All of them
What?
wanted to stay.
Christine
Oh,
wanted to follow behind. All of them wanted to stay. Mary wanted to stay. Christine and Janelle,
They
but
should have
Christine
stayed.
wanted to follow behind Cody to make sure, see if she can make the relationship work.
Yep.
So
Dumbass.
she decided to pack her kids up, but she had every reason to stay in Vegas, just like
She
Janelle.
could have stayed with Janelle and not
yeah, like he kind of
Garrison would
sweet
have still
talk.
been alive.
Yeah,
Right.
he
Janelle
sweet
was
talk.
basically their dad anyway. Like Janelle was more the dad to her kids than Cody was. Why? Why? That's
Well,
so
See,
see,
they
that's where
were
it
frustrating.
I
gonna
goes.
think
stay.
that
If
Let's
you
keep
read the
going.
book, it
Like,
sounded like those three kind of was like, yeah, we're staying. Y'all just go ahead. That forced Cody to kind of, okay, well, Mary wants a relationship with me. So he basically love bombed her to move.
Mm.
Like, oh, we can start over. We can da 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 da. And she was so desperate
Yes,
for
that's
him
right.
for that. She was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. And then with Christine,
Hmm.
like you were saying, James, he told her, like, oh, if
Yes,
you go, every day will be your
your
birthday. And
birthday.
da da
right.
da da da. And so she like he call them puppies like oh he'll give me affection, he'll give me intimacy, okay, I'll go, which kind of left Janelle
Work.
out like, well, damn, I guess I
Yeah,
Mm.
gotta
because she
go too
can't do
now
it on
because
her own. She needed a
she
partner. Oh my
right,
God.
exactly. So Cody's a
That's so sad.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
but
he
I
love
mean
bombed
I think
all
that
of them
even
at the
though,
right
because I
time.
respect the fact that folks say like Janelle was like basically the husband, I think that that's fair, like a fair in a traditional sense. She was the one providing the money, but the one thing that Janelle can't provide is the one thing Christine wanted, which was the
Yeah.
romantic attention and affections of a man, the comfort of a man. Janelle can't provide that to her.
yep.
So
Well, I mean, it's fair to want it. I don't want to like SLUT shame Christine. That's not what it's about. But she wants romance and stuff. He was not providing that.
right,
Yeah, and
Like,
he
But he
I
promised
feel
that
like
promised
to
I'm
it.
her
missing
if she would
something.
move.
But he
See, he
promised
gave
it
them
Yes.
though.
each what they wanted. Like, okay,
Right.
Yes.
he knew that's what Christine wanted, so he exploited that. Like, if you
Yes.
move, I'll give you that. Same with Mary.
Yes.
She wanted a marriage with him. Well, if you move, I'll give you that. And then he got him there and said, I ain't say that. I don't know what y'all talking about.
mm,
Mm.
I think it was a massive thing of he knew what strings to pull when it comes
Yeah.
to dogging the women out, but he also
Yep.
knew what strings to pull when he felt them trying to slip away. So if he
Yes.
knew with Mary, we can make a fresh start, water under the bridge, it's going to be me and
Mm.
you, he knew she was longing for that. So he played on that when
Yes.
it comes to
He played
Mary.
on it.
With Christine,
Yes.
I think he threw the big whoopee with her because he knew she enjoyed her independence, whereas Janelle had always felt that way. I'm independent. I can handle my own without Cody. I ain't worried about him. She makes her own money. She can handle, for the most part, her kids are older, so she really didn't necessarily need the daycare from Christine anymore. So with Janelle, I don't think he put it on her as thick as he put it on the other two women, simply because They, like y'all said, they were starved puppies. They wanted that longing and attention. And Christine still had 3 young girls when they
Yeah.
moved to Flagstaff.
Right.
Was
So
she
for her,
still
it was,
paying?
my kids will finally get the dad that they deserve. My
Yes.
kids will get the dad that Robin's kids are getting. I'll finally get a
Yes.
husband that Robin is getting. And it could have been based on the ultimate jealousy that she was feeling as well,
Mm.
along with, wanting this. That's what she's been longing for. So, of course, when he's throwing it out there overly thick, like, hey, it could be your birthday every weekend if we move to Flagstaff. And not to admit, the views were nice. I got relatives that live in Arizona, and every time I go, I genuinely enjoy it coming from California.
Is
But
it actually pretty? Because when they did the what's this word? A
The
pan. That's what it is.
presentation.
Yes, I was like, I may the
I've
camera probably
never
heard it, but I was
been,
like, ugh.
I've personally never been to the area in Flagstaff where
Mhm.
they settled down. But my godmother works in God, what's the name of that city? Sedona. And when I tell you the views in Sedona are amazing, like
Mm.
it is nice. Like, if you're not from an area where it's mountain ranges and you don't really like looking at that. I mean, I'm in California, I see the ocean all the time, the green
Mm-hmm.
hills and
Mm.
whatever else. But Arizona is not, it's hot as hell, but it's nice.
Mm.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So I could
Well,
see how,
You know what? Caramel Cutie touched on something very important. I think that these women were so physically and emotionally abused. If you look up, there's a lot of different levels of domestic violence.
Yes.
His
definitely.
manipulation is freaking incredible. And it's the emotional and the mental abuse, and also the guilt.
Yep.
Because I'm sure he threw away, "You're taking my children away from me." Remember how he went on that
Yes.
rant when he took Truly, "You're taking my child away from me." I'm sitting there thinking, you could give a good goddamn about that kid.
Exactly.
Weren't they like
Um,
5 minutes apart from each other when
yeah,
Christine was living in Flagstaff?
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah. He would
Yeah.
have to
right
pass her house
there.
through to get into town.
Yes. Like,
That was
what
a
is
He
that?
drove
you know, how
past her
many
house
times did he
daily.
pass Chris? And this is my
Mm.
anger with them. Like, when were you going to be a mother before you were a woman? I
Yes.
mean, come on. You see how he's given all the attention to Robin's kids. You don't know how to get attention for your kids. You couldn't learn from Robin. Come
Mhm.
on. You come
Well, I
on.
mean,
No,
I
they're like,
think she needed to be Robin in some sort of way in order for her to be good enough because like
they all
he
did.
wouldn't look at her body or whatever. And I can't even imagine what that would do to your brain. Like after years and years and years. Like
Right.
up until I was reading the book, I was giving her a lot of grace, assuming she was staying because that was her way into heaven. That was the only
But it
way she was
wasn't.
going to get in to have her eternal kingdom and see her children again. And that is a huge
Exactly.
thing to let go of. But to find out that she was like questioning and already considering leaving
Ex-
before the show ever
Thank
aired,
you. Thank
I wanted
you.
to punch something. Like it
Yeah.
I want
just,
to punch. I want
um,
to throw punch all of them.
Well,
Can I
yes,
interject
well,
real
I
quick?
don't like any of them.
well,
Yeah.
well,
Can I say something really quickly?
yeah, go ahead.
Like, I didn't grow up in a cult. I grew up Christian. But to always be compared to somebody else is hard emotionally. And so,
Yes.
like, I have a younger sister that my biological mother would constantly compare me to, and she's what we call the family fuck up now, right? She's
Mm.
been to jail. She doesn't take care of her kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a wanderer. She does whatever the hell she
Yeah.
wants, and everybody makes excuses for her. But when we were younger, she was slender, she had curlier hair, the lighter complexion, and it was always me being compared to her, even though we're 8 years apart. And I
Mm.
I would always grow up and be like, well, damn, I can never be good enough because I'm not like
Yes.
her. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
that emotional toll, it took years of therapy for me to overcome that. And now looking back on it,
Mm.
like, I raised her daughter for almost 2 years. And even in that moment of having her daughter with us, with me and my kids, there were times when my mother would still be like, well, you're nothing like your sister. And I'd be like, I thank God I'm not, because I've
Yep.
raised my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I've
Right.
gone to college. I graduated high school. Like, there's things that I've accomplished in my life that my family have never acknowledged. And I've gotten to a point where
Mm.
it doesn't even bother me anymore.
Mm-mm.
Where
Yeah.
in my younger years, I would always look for that,
Validation.
That validation, yes. And so
Yeah.
I can see how for Christine, now being raised in a cult, mind you, her
Yes.
thought process, and maybe she didn't always put her kids first in ways that we normal, I say we normal folks because we didn't grow up in a cult, but
True.
the way that you or I would be like, hell to the no. Cody could kick rocks, Robin could kick rocks. It ain't about the
Yeah.
family. I'm putting my babies first. But this is ingrained in them. Like even
Well,
now, like even the book, and that's the part that pisses me off, where she's like, "Oh, I wouldn't change a thing. I would do it all over again." Would you really?
What?
Would you
yeah.
really?
Well,
Like,
I
I
mean,
come
can't.
on
if
now.
Well, because I think that you have to also take it into account that one, with the book, as far as her proclamation in the book, I think that that might lean more towards outcome than actual
yeah,
logic, because everything worked out for her. So
And I
she
get
wouldn't
that.
change a
yes,
thing because now she's living with a guy who has his own business and she's
yes,
doing well financially, buying houses, and she's doing all the stuff she wanted to do. Um, Two things though that I kind of wanted to touch on. The first thing with regard to Cody, moving them around. I think that in order for a lot of that manipulation to work, it does, like taking it out of the realm of just basic like cultdom, but just dealing with people who are trying to manipulate folks. The first thing you want to do is keep people unsteady. You never
Yes.
want them to get comfortable. So the second they start getting comfortable in a place, you move them around because you always want them on edge. With regard to like him spending time with them, at the end of the day, he's spending time with them and yeah, he's spending time with them and doing things with them in a way where he's making these promises. But I want you guys to, I'm going to be with you. It's going to be your birthday every day, like the thing you said to Christine. But if we remove like some of the grace that we're giving Christine by saying that she's like completely brainwashed because she's in a cult, is there a possibility? And I'm genuinely asking this question.
mm,
Do you guys think that there's a possibility that when she agreed to move to Arizona, it wasn't just because he said it was going to be your birthday, but strategically, she's saying that if we move out of the cul-de-sac, it's not as convenient for you to go over to Robin's house.
yes.
Because now you get to be at my house, and anytime you want, and you catch the feeling you want to go get some crackers or some shit, you just walk across the driveway and you can walk right into Robin's house. But if we move to Arizona,
Mm,
I'm going to be in a completely separate location. And so when you come and spend time with me and my kids, you have to dedicate that time to me and my kids. You can
there's
no
that.
longer just go across the driveway. You have to drive to Robin's house,
Yes,
because that's what they did in Vegas when he first got out
yes,
to Vegas. When Christine said, I kind of like the freedom that I have here in Vegas
yes.
because now I have my own house where Cody comes over and he's spending time with just me and my kids.
Right.
And nobody
There's
else is
that,
running
but
in the door. Nobody else is
yes.
coming by or whatever. It's just me and my kids, and we get full attention. Maybe that's what she was trying to recapture. So it's not just a question of
Oh,
the
I,
magic
I
I
eight
could
have
ball.
buy
It was
that
just
for
one.
25 cents. I could
a
buy that, James.
manipulation.
It kind of makes sense.
I have one extra that I think played into it, besides him having to be a little bit more independent because the other ones live further away, is she didn't have to see where his car was
She
all
Facts.
the
said
time
that in
and
the book.
constantly.
Yep.
Yes, I had
Yeah.
to stop reading it. It's going to give me an aneurysm. I'm so mad. And I didn't
Thank you
have
for
like an
saying
official
that.
cult, but I grew up in a cult. I grew up in a world where the world was only 6,000 years old
Right.
and purity culture and all this stuff. And, I've left that like almost 10 years ago now, but there's still some things that I have to be like, oh, yeah, this is not how the normal world works. And I would hope that I wouldn't put my genitals ahead of the needs of my children,
Hmm.
even though I know that, like in my old culture that I grew up in, I would be seen as kind of like a ruined woman. Nobody would want me, right? I've already had a man be with me. I already come with kids that aren't his, right? Um, I would have done, I wouldn't be desirable again, which is fine. I'm at that age. I'll live in the woods. It's fine. But back then, that would have been really hurtful. right?
Right.
But when they first were moving, I just had this thought. How old was Truly when she had the kidney failure? 2-ish?
3.
3 or 4, yeah.
Do
And
you?
he was the one watching her when that happened.
Yes. Do we
No,
think that she was
Aspen and McKelty. He
Aspen
was
Right.
and
doing
McKelty?
laundry at Robbins. He was too
Or
busy to
That
promote.
whatever.
You're right.
He
part.
wasn't even doing laundry. We know that man was sleeping. But
Yeah.
whichever it was, do
He
we
probably
think
was
at
laid
that
up with another
time
chick. He was laid up with the nanny.
that
Mm.
yes, he can't keep it in his pants. But we think that Christine was potentially still paying for the bills, for the medical bills at the
Yeah.
time that they were
Oh, I'm
She
going?
sure
says in the
she was
book
still
she
paying for
was.
it.
Yeah, it was two
Yeah,
hundred
Was
thousand dollars.
she?
Yes, she was
Oh,
still
sweet
paying
Lord.
Truly's bills in that's when
Flagstaff.
she
Yeah.
and Flagstaff when she was planning to leave Cody. She talked in the book how she had to pay that $200,000 off so she can
Oh,
make a clean break. Yeah, she talks about that in the book.
oh my
Wow.
goodness. See, I wasn't sure because in Canada, if you're having kidney failure, you're not gonna pay for that. So I didn't know what the cost was, didn't know how long she paid for it, but I was thinking as we were talking, she gives 50% to Cody or whatever, and then she has 6 kids plus herself to spread that between plus her housing because she paid for all the mortgage or whatever. And I was like, wait, maybe part of the reason why she wanted to believe that it's your birthday every day is because maybe she was still paying for those medical bills and you confirming that like maybe that
Well, because
maybe that hurt her.
I don't know if her thinking she was going to get respite from Cody from the medical bills actually came into play because Cody's never contributed to any of those things. So even when
No, I don't mean like she thought he would pay. It's just she knew that she couldn't do it on her own yet, so she agreed to go with them so she could continue to pay this enormous, because I imagine, is there interest on your bill? Like if it takes you, I don't
Yes.
know, 10 years
Yeah.
to pay, you
Mm-hmm.
pay
Depends on the
interest on that?
facility. Yeah, it
But that's
depends on the
also
facility.
Oh,
They
that's
could choose
okay.
to charge interest or not. And if it goes to collection, it might be just that amount. So it's like different state by state.
Right.
Yeah.
She could
But
have
I
and
just
opted
But
got
for.
I
She
got
could
a
have
also
question
opted
for
for the
James real
ability to
quick.
pay.
Wait, you said something interesting that, what Janelle and Christine staying behind. Do you think the reason they didn't stay behind is that they either might have been cut off from the show and not get those funds,
Mm.
or the show wouldn't be willing to film in 2 different locations?
I think it might have been more A than B. The show is like because they do it with 90 Day Fiance. They film like I know
Okay.
the bandwidth to do it. But we also have to keep in mind that the show was already under threat of being canceled anyway.
Hmm.
Remember, because the show
yes.
when they were in Vegas, part of because that was also some of the excuse that was used as to why Cody potentially wanted to sell the houses was because they had already put them under threat that they were going to cancel the show.
Oh, they had.
Like around season 12, they had talked about canceling.
Yes, they all took a pay cut,
They
right?
took a
yes,
massive pay cut.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, Catfish saved the show. Like so,
yes.
if Mary wouldn't have gotten catfished, that we wouldn't be talking about Sister Wives right now.
Well, thank you, Robert.
Mhm.
Did I say
Yeah,
that
I
out
think,
loud?
Yeah.
yeah, well, really think you're onto something. Like when I found out that Robin knew the person who knew the catfish, I was like, Robin Brown, oh my God.
You,
Like, I
you,
think she had something to do with it. Yeah.
and
Hey, do you all think maybe that catfish thing was a fake thing? I think maybe that was a fake thing, and like let's allude that Robin knows the people, because there were like things going around, like I saw from other YouTubers and creators, and I'm like, this thing is a hot mess, and that's kind of when I stopped watching it because I'm like, I didn't want to, pay into it. But I'm wondering, like I didn't know that it was that serious, so maybe this catfishing thing was all one big scam.
Well,
That they all got
Um,
together and created. What do you all think?
I don't think Mary
I,
was in on it. If it was a
Yeah, I
no,
scam,
don't. Mary
not at
definitely
all.
wasn't.
yeah,
I don't think
Not at
Mary was
all.
in
no,
on it because
Mary
she
was
was
ready to leave
Mary,
all there.
getting embarrassed.
She was like,
yes,
Yeah,
there is an unfortunate picture I've seen of Mary Brown with a
yeah,
banana. And
yeah.
for that reason alone, I don't think if they did plan it, she was not in on it.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
that
she
makes
really
sense.
did
Yeah.
I think she did fall in love with this
Yes.
catfish,
Yeah.
or
Wait,
at
a
least
picture
who
of
they
her
were
with a
presenting
banana. Wait,
themselves.
what I missed?
Yeah, she was scraping.
Yeah,
She was
it's a
scraping
picture, a savory
Snapchats and
picture.
pics.
Let's just
Yeah.
say it's the banana is a very phallic. It's a
It's a
phallic.
stand-in for something else.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You know what?
Lord.
Look,
Can
you
I
can
say?
Lord
tell she
have.
had never
Voice
been with something
messages
of
as
that
well.
size before. But oops,
Oops.
did I
Ooh,
Mm.
say that out loud? I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
We're talking about the worm
Well,
now.
I'm
I second
sorry.
that emotion.
that's why she needed to practice.
You know
Right.
what? I
Cause
just
I'm
want to
new
go.
Wet
to the sister
pencil.
wife world, so I didn't watch that season. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't
No,
watch
it
it.
it didn't come out on the actual show. These
No.
were pictures
No,
that were
no, that
leaked
was not on
because
the
the
show.
catfisher made her own book later. And
Yeah.
so
Right.
these were
Yes,
pictures that were
it's
leaked
called.
that so many people covered on Instagram, Reddit, and Facebook, all
There's
the socials basically. And
there's
Sheesh.
a phone
Well,
pictures
call.
it's
There's
floating
a phone
around.
call too,
yeah.
about how much better this man is
Yeah.
than
They
Cody.
had
Did you
letters
see?
that
It turns
literally
out to
had
be a
proof.
woman, though. It turns out
Right.
to
Yeah.
be a
Yes, it was a
woman.
woman. She
A
met
What
her
the
at
professional
Disney.
hell?
catfisher at that. Like she had catfished
It
a
was a
few other
friend of.
women.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah, apparently
professional
this.
catfisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that wild? A professional catfisher. Like, what a job. But she met the catfisher at Disneyland, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
she never met the person in that person in person. If I'm not
Didn't she
mistaken.
meet Jackie at
no,
Disneyland?
She met the
she met
catfish.
No,
Jackie.
she
Well,
met her, but she didn't
Yeah.
meet her as the catfisher. She was the
Right. She
friend
met
of the
a
catfisher.
right.
right,
Yes, no,
right.
sorry,
She was
that's
supposed to be a friend
Right.
of
Oh my
yeah,
Sam,
God.
she
who she
thought
was
she
dating.
thought she was his secretary or
Yeah, something like
something,
Her
or
Right.
work
best
with
I thought
him.
it
friend
was
or
his
Yeah,
friend.
something. Yeah.
yeah.
So the way the story kind of went, for those who might not be aware in the chat, the way the story went, the catfish had got in touch with Mary, and they presented themselves as this guy. And I've seen a picture. This is not a bad looking
He's
dude.
a handsome guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and and so she was all enthralled with him, and he introduced this woman as his friend. And so anytime Mary would have questions about the guy, she would go to the friend to ask those questions. Or if the friend was concerned because there was an argument or whatever, she would come to Mary and say, "Oh, my friend John, I forget his name, John here,
Sam.
he's so upset."
Sam.
Yeah, Sam, he's so
Megatron's in
upset.
this.
He's upset with everything that happened with the way you guys left things, and he's really hurting, crying. You got to call him. And she would counsel him on how to deal with
Mm.
her, male side on the catfish side. So it's a twisted situation. But
It
So
is
yeah,
because
the friend posing as the meter man was the actual catfisher.
right.
Correct.
Correct.
Oh damn.
yes. So
Well,
Oh,
hold
what's
on.
okay. I
really
gotta do my research.
But
Wait.
I
what's
It
really
think
didn't
sad
even work.
about it.
It's
I think there
worse
might be
though
something
because
to the fact that
supposedly,
one, like, there's a lot of benefits that came from the catfish. It saved the show.
Yes,
right.
it
Two,
did.
it also created a division between Mary and Cody,
Cody.
Mm-hmm.
during
Yes, like a
potentially it
hard
was,
wall.
and this
Well,
is why I say
it
that
created
Linda might be
division
onto
with her
something.
and Robin as well
Right, but there
because
was a point where this would have been Cody's way out of a relationship with Mary.
Yep.
yeah,
Bingo.
Well, that
Bingo.
So
was
With
that's
his.
no
why,
That
guilt.
was his
I think
reason.
that Linda might be
Yeah.
onto something with
But
this
that was
not
his
just being
reason.
something that because the whole catfish thing played a lot of roles.
And remember,
It was
that was
doing a
his
lot of heavy
reason for
lifting.
treating her like a POS the entire time.
Hmm.
When they first moved to Arizona, or, Vegas or whatever, he wanted to have nothing to do with her. He was like, "Okay, well, you can come if you want." You know what I mean?
Right.
Hmm.
It was like okay,
Yep.
well, do what you want. Uh,
Yes, but it also made Mary stick around longer after it was discovered it was a
yeah,
catfish because
yeah,
her self-esteem must
yeah,
have been just in the ground.
yeah,
Um, and
Mm.
embarrassing on a national, international scale, right? This Canadian talking about this catfish situation. I think Robin did have something to do with it because Robin knows what's going on with Cody and with the show and how stressed they are. Robin knew, was her name Kendra, who
yep,
knew
Yes.
Jackie the
yes, yes.
catfish.
Uh-huh.
yep.
I think Robin was saying little things like Mary's
She was
awful lonely. They
vouching
saw an
for it.
open door. They
Yep.
saw an open door. Do I think Mary
And,
cheated? Yes. Do I blame her? No. It's
and
the
you know what?
weirdest.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just saying, like, I don't usually agree with cheaters, but like, I don't blame Mary at all. Like, I can totally
Right.
see where a person would get to that point where they see no other way out. They feel like her self-esteem was probably already in the garbage before she, that's how they get in, is it
Because this
not?
was
Like,
after the legal divorce, right?
Yeah. Oh, way
yes, it
Oh
after.
was
yeah.
right after. So she was super vulnerable in that moment, right? Like she didn't know what she was always the legal wife, and now she doesn't have that part of her identity anymore. She's now a
Not only
divorced
that,
woman.
And
Mariah, aka Leon, was already out of the home as well, away at college. So
sure.
Mary was
Yes.
an empty nester. Christine wasn't letting her kids come around. Janelle's kids were pretty
Mm-mm.
much willy nilly, and Robin kind of tucked her kids a little close to home as well.
Right. Well, the
So,
Robin
other
kept
thing
her
is,
kids away from everybody. But you know
right.
what? I wonder, you guys just got me thinking here, conspiracy theory time. You got me wondering here that, first of all, we know that Mary was coerced into this divorce by Robin, and I think she did it to please Cody.
mm-hmm,
The catfish thing, I could really see Robin masterminding this, get Mary off the show and
Mm.
like really
Mm.
put the ratings through the roof, because now everyone is going to be more invested, because what's
Right.
going to happen now? We're all curious about this polygamous family, but at the end of the day, this polygamous families, they are just abusing children emotionally, mentally, and in some cases physically.
Right.
And
Neglect
TLC kind
too.
of TLC
it's
is
exploiting it.
is exploiting it, but they got us interested on a different way. I think they're, like James has said, they've gotten so much more salacious. So now we're looking to see, like, sort of like the soap opera. We're not realizing this is really real life. I think we're kind of looking at this like a soap opera, like some of this is what's the word? I don't know. You know how they say some of these reality shows are scripts?
Oh yeah,
Right.
Yes.
So where
it
I
is.
don't realize that none of this is really scripted. I think we're seeing this real life destruction in real time, and
This is
TLC
some
took us
Jerry
along
Springer
for the
shit.
ride. I'm
No,
Well,
Jerry
sorry.
Can
Well,
I
that's
Springer.
part
piggyback
of,
let me
off
give
of Miss Linda
let
for a
me
second
recognize somebody
and
real quick.
and hit
Unlimited
that note
Lister
just the
yes.
with
same?
the
When it
279 super chat. You right, Cody manipulates to get what he wants.
uh,
Yes.
Here's the
I
thing.
think they all do.
Here's the thing. I think that, like, because again, I think we're kind of falling into the same trap that I'm actually actively trying to prevent myself from falling into the same thing. We're putting on Robin solely.
No, yep,
Cody
nope, nope.
benefits from this because Cody
yep,
never wanted to be with Mary anymore. He didn't want
absolutely.
to be with her.
It's
So
a
No.
partnership. Yeah, it's a
introduce
partnership between those two.
right by
It's
introducing
just
the catfish that Robin perhaps arranged. Cody benefited from that. And
yes.
it was a way for him
That's
to get rid of Mary, get her out of the thing, out of
And
the
for
family.
her to please her number one customer.
Right.
yes.
But even then, if you think about it, what happens? Like Mary gets out of the family, right? Because she's humiliated. Because it's the especially with the person that they chose in their particular faith, the person that they chose to catfish her. They didn't pick some guy, some rando guy who's like 500 pounds in his basement living in his mama's house.
It was another woman.
They
Yeah.
picked a
Mm-hmm.
woman, which directly goes against who Mary holds herself as. Like people's sexuality is very sensitive. So now
True.
you have her in a situation where you put her in a precarious situation and she's embarrassed and humiliated. She's disconnected from the family. My question is this, and this is why I say I'm looking at Cody. Do you think she would want to stay on that cul-de-sac, or do you think she'd be more likely to sell her house at the cul-de-sac or give it to the family and leave? Because she does at that time, she did have
She had her
Lizzie's
own
in.
house. She had her
So
own house, and she didn't even need that house. That's what she was on the end. Mary was on the end, the way end. Remember?
what do
Yes.
you mean?
Of the cul-de-sac. She was on the end of the cul-de-sac.
Oh no,
She
she's
didn't
in the
need
middle.
them.
She's in the
Robbie
middle.
was on the end because
Christine,
it's
I thought
Christine and
Christine was
Robin
in
were
the
on the
middle.
ends.
no, it's
Oh,
because when you drive into the cul-de-sac, it'll be Robin's house to the left
yeah.
because she's the only one who had her backyard actually faced into the other cul-de-sacs,
Oh,
into the other development, other
okay.
part of the development.
So I
All
mean
the
to
other
get
wives' houses, their backyards were streets. Were big, like Mary and Janelle's house was on the back of a big ass street.
okay.
So you had Robin's house to the left, Mary's house right next to that, Janelle's house, and then Christine's house right across from Robin's house.
Okay. Okay. I didn't. I don't know. I no offense. I ain't. Look, that's
Yeah, I've been
Google
looking at
Earth
the layout.
stuff. That's Google
I've been
Earth
looking at the
stuff.
layout now.
Can I
But
say
yeah,
something to piggyback off
yeah,
of what Miss Linda had said? When and I'm not putting the blame on Robin. I think it's equally fair to put it on both her and Cody, because
Yes.
we all know that Cody pillow talks. He can't hold water, and
Nope.
the main wife that he pillow talked with was
Was her.
Robin,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
told everybody else's business like
And
he
she
shouldn't
did the
have been.
same. And she did the
Right.
same
And
daggone
she did
thing.
the
Yep.
same. But I, from other content creators who have covered the whole catfishing story and whatever else, and all the little tidbits and evidence that came out, it seemed like Robin was a lot more spiteful than any of us had given us credit for. So the
Mm,
whole, oh, I'll be your surrogate so you can have more kids, but behind
Said no woman
Mary's
ever on the
back,
birthing bed.
right? But behind Mary's
I'm trying to
back,
do this
she's
again.
calling
Yeah,
her evil bitches and saying she didn't deserve to have more kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these
Mhm.
are text messages supposedly she was sending to her bestie Kendra, who have leaked it now to everybody who will listen for $1. But I wouldn't put it past Cody and Robin to have laid up one day or one night, because in Vegas they were always locked in the room together, and
Mhm.
concocted this whole thing, even if he knew Mary's loyal, right? Her religion says she's going to stay, even though she's embarrassed, even though they've gotten her in the worst way possible. They still knew Mary was going to contribute financially because she's loyal. So at that
Mhm.
point, Cody and Robin pretty much had Mary in the palm of their hand.
right.
However they wanted that to go, whether she was going to leave, sell her house and give the proceeds to the family. Mary was at the peak of her LuLaRoe business. She
Mhm.
was making at that time probably the most money out of all the wives.
Yep.
It was the perfect plan.
And she wanted to be loyal to the family. Like
Exactly.
she, for her, I don't know. And I'm sorry, my phone had died. That's how I had to come out, come back in. But it goes to what James was saying earlier too, Karma Cuties. And hey, I didn't get a chance to say hi, sis. But
Hey, sis.
but it goes to, I don't know if y'all remember this movie. Sorry, it's an ambulance. But there's a movie called, of course it's gonna do it right when I start talking. Um Come on. It's called Why Did I Get Married? It's Tyler
Yeah,
Perry movie,
yeah. I
Yep.
real
remember
good
that.
Yep.
movie. And at the end, Jill Scott done lost her way. She looking all good and this, that, and the other. And he comes up to her. He's like, you know what, babe? You hear about the 80-20 rule. You got to give 80% and they give 20% and this. And she said, no, he said the 20-20 rule or something. I don't know what it was. He misquoted it. This is the problem. There is no 80-20 rule. There is no 20-20 rule. You have to be able to give, and I'm not casting aspersions on their lifestyle or what have you, but you have to be able to give 100%. I give 100% to my one and only husband. One and only husband gives 100% to his one and only wife. I am not taken away from the way they live or their religion, anything like that. But that's the way I believe. If I can't give my husband 100% and he can't give me 100%, we just don't need to be together. And Cody or Fauntleroy was given that, he wasn't even given 20%, 10%. He was giving about 2-3, and Robert was getting 1,000%. That's what it boils down to. Period. Point blank.
No, I mean,
True. Can I piggyback on Negla and Carmel Cutie for just a minute, James?
no,
You
good.
all just unlocked a memory. Remember when Mary set the family down and she just needed a loan for the down payment? She was approved for the mortgage.
Yep.
She
Yep.
needed to borrow from the family fund for a
And nope.
down payment that she was going to, just to get the house and pay back. Number one, the one who, out of all the wives who came out the nastiness, was not Robin, but it was Christine. She
Right.
was insisting on getting a business plan. And Mary's like, I don't know why you want a business plan. It's not going to be a family business. So Cody didn't want to give her the money for the down payment because his name wasn't going to be on anything and the family wasn't going to benefit from it. And
Right.
I'm just
Yep.
thinking, here you go again. So what he kept saying, the family, the family, the family, that's how he is also reinforcing that in all of them, not just Mary. So when Mary turned around and said, fuck all y'all, I'm going to get the money, She got it. She got the house. They were all so surprised that they heard secondhand that she had it before she made an announcement.
Right.
And again, that could have been Mary's chance to say, bye, let me go. Your child is out. This man is dragging you through the mud. But I think Mary's problem was twofold, you know. So now I'm going to say, as women, and maybe James, as a man, you felt it. Betrayal from someone that you loved, someone that you married, someone that you put your life to. I noticed that a lot of people handle that differently. And
Absolutely.
what
Cuts
the
deep.
art witch said, what the art witch said is, I guess in a cult it's different. Me, I was raised strong. It might rip my heart to shreds, but I've had that happen, and it's goodbye. When you're in a cult and they give you these otherworldly God principle experiences, I think the hold is twofold. It's what you were raised with and the partner you have. And it would just kill me that Mary couldn't say, let me go. You know, you see your daughter acting up or whatever, and then she's finally out. So now you don't have to wait for her. Now it's just your decision. But you're sitting there and you're seeing your whole family turn against you. No one, not even Janelle, no one came out and plainly said, you know what? Let's support Mary. We know she's going to pay the money back. She has contributed more than she had to. She's kept her commitment. It's only one child. Let's help her do this. No one, not one of them said it. Not one. Correct me if I'm wrong, fill me in, because you know that I kind of left watching this. And still the realization didn't hit her. Let me get the fuck out of here.
Right. Well, I think part of the challenge though was that you have like they were still suffering from somewhat food insecurities. Like they were barely paying their bills. So they weren't doing well financially. Like they weren't explode with money. So it would have hurt them like to give the money to
It was
Mary.
going to hurt them because Cody had conveniently said, I borrowed 40,000 to go on a venture with him, and I could only give 20 back. And you saw the look of shock on all their faces.
Right.
Evidently, there wasn't a sit down saying, hey, I'm going to invest whatever with Doug or whoever his name was.
Well, because I think you also run into the challenge, like, because it's twofold, 2 points. First point is that you run into the challenge where if I give the money, like we really consider giving Mary the money, I'm gonna have to break the books open and tell everybody we don't have the money because I spent the money. The money gone.
Right. That's and Chris and Janelle may have kept the books, but she kept them books secret, and he knew she wasn't gonna spill it. You're right.
So, and then two, I think that there's a part of it, like because we use the term cult a lot, but there's more to it than just it being a cult. Like there's a whole process that goes into it. And I think that one of the key processes that Cody utilized while he was doing this was like I said, the insecurity and the instability that they had. And he hedged that on them. So they would always question like whether they're doing the right thing, whether they're strong enough to leave, whether they could leave, whether it was financially, whether they could make it on their own. Would they be happy by themselves? Maybe Cody is the only man who will ever want me. And I'm going to leave trying to get something better. And I'm stuck, out there in the world. And I either get the same thing I had or I get a new worse demon in my life. And so they keep them guessing. Like, so I think that does play a part in it. And I think that Cody, and again, I think that this is the part where I'm like, when I say that Cody's a dumbass, because I've said it before, but when I think about it, dumbass don't rise to that level of manipulation. Stupid people don't manipulate people for 20, 30 years and be dumb as hell, unless the people they're manipulating are dumber than they are. You know what I mean? So
You might be right, James. Remember when Janelle said that Cody wasn't smart enough to do all of this? So she was implying that Robin had a lot to do with it. I think Robin woke up that other, lack of a better word, evil, that malice in Cody. Because you can look at someone's eyes and you know how they're going to be. The man, when you look in his eyes, there's always malice. There's a con man, the snake oil salesman. He's going to find a way in his mind that, I have to screw this person over to benefit.
They both have the heart of a hustler. And I don't hate the hustler. I hate the game.
Okay. But I think Robin was that missing piece that he needed to go full on psycho.
Right.
Yeah, we call him dumb, stupid, or whatever, but he could take us all down if we're not watching.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm gonna bring Raider's mom in because she joined us as well. Uh, you're in Raider's mom, by the way. I think that there's an old principle, right? If you get into a fist fight, two guys are gonna fight. They say the big guy's dangerous, the little guy's dangerous. Not the size of the dog, it's the size of the dog in the fight. No, it's the size of the person. Whoever wants it more, and whoever has the least to lose and don't give a shit, that person is the most dangerous person in the room. If you have a person like the limitations that you put on yourself, oftentimes will prevent you from doing things to other people. And I think that to tag on to what Linda was saying, I think that what Robin allowed him to do, she removed his inhibitions and cut him off from his better angels to keep him from doing the things that he would
There
like.
you go.
Now he's like, I'm going all out.
Yes.
He gave her
Everything I want to
security.
do
He
to
gave
you.
her
So I'm not
security.
only going to be nasty, I'm going to be nasty to you in ways that you didn't think were possible, which is also part of the reason why I think it took so long for the women to actually decide to leave, because they don't know this Cody.
He
Because this
gave
is a
her
new
the
Cody with
security to
no
be
guardrails.
the whole ass that he is. So
Mhm.
he knew he still could fall back on her. So I can be an ass, but I can still come home to mine. I
Right,
couldn't
right.
be
Well,
an
I mean, you
ass and come
spend
home to
20
the other
years and
three.
it's kind of like when your kids rebel against you. It's easy for your children to rebel. Like the better relationship you have with your kids, ironically, the better your relationship with your kids, the more they will rebel against you,
Yeah.
because they always understand that you will always take them back, or you will be more forgiving to them. If you have a shitty relationship with your parents, then you're always at the point where you're trying to please your parents and never create problems. If you have a really good relationship with your parents, you explore your independence a little more because you feel secure in the fact that they're not, this is your mom. She's
Security
not going to kick
blanket.
you out. This is your dad. He's not going to put you in the street. They don't want
Okay.
to see you do bad. You know what I mean? They'll bring you back. So I think that with Mary and them, he always felt like I could say whatever I want, I could do whatever I want, and you're always going to be around, and you're always
True.
going to kick in.
True.
You know what I mean?
And when Janelle followed suit, he was like, "Oh well, no, hold on, Christine, Mary, then Chris. Well, it was Christine first, technically, but then when Janelle was like, no, I'm sorry, Mary. When Mary said, no, we're doing this legally or through the church, it was like, oh, okay, I have nothing now.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, it's a humiliation. Like Mary's part wasn't as much financial as it was just the humiliation, because now it's public record.
Well, the
Well, the
thing,
church. Don't
but the
forget what
thing,
the church said. The church gave her the release on
yes,
abandonment. I think he
Right.
was ready to listen. If that conversation with Mary was not recorded, I think that man was going to put hands on
yes,
her again.
Yep.
Because you're
Yep.
not going to tell me he never put hands on any of these women. I don't care what they say. They could put their hand to the fire and I will not believe them. These women got their ass beat or smacked around. They most certainly did.
well, but also it was the embarrassment of I can be king and queen of the prom, but if it's only two people in my senior class,
Hmm.
you feel me? You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Mhm.
No,
Yep.
I have to have a senior class to look down upon because I'm their royal court. That's why I call them Lord Fauntleroy and Robert, the robber baron. The rest of them are peasants.
Right.
Oh, you know what? I just remembered something. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. Just to bring in 444, because I've known you've
Notes to
worked with
self.
them, James, or the
Love
notes
them.
to self.
Love them.
And I think I mentioned it before. They had a video on understanding Robin Brown. And I think what we're getting at is like the gist of it was that Robin was to be brought in and the focus was going to be on their courtship, marriage, and their family. And the current wives, I guess, were supposed to be taking a back seat, but nobody knew about it. In a way, I thought she was trying to explain some of Robin's behavior, but I'm like, maybe she is right, because that catfishing thing, you can't tell me that that wasn't orchestrated, not just by Robin, but with Cody. And I think they were both working together to change the narrative, to get these wives in place so they could be the stars of the show. They just never expected that finally there would be a straw that would break all of those camels' back.
Right.
I believe
Right.
that
Well, I mean, I
wholeheartedly,
said
Miss
from the
Linda.
beginning I thought it was supposed to be their show.
Because look
I
how
think
Robin took over the interviews. Like in the beginning, like the first one or two episodes, all the women would be on the couch and they all would give their input, whatever else. But once Robin came in, she was the pro when it comes to living life of polygamy. And I would
and was the
laugh like
newest.
she
And
would
had
take
never lived
over.
it. Weirdo.
Yes.
Never lived it, right? But she would take over, even if all the women said what they had to say. It's like Robin had to have the last word. She
right.
had to overly explain polygamy to the rest of the world, like we haven't seen other shows or other documentaries regarding polygamy, and maybe a lot of people have never lived polygamy the way the AUB may live polygamy. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure everybody knows somebody who had shit. My grandfather married over 50 years, had outside kids. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
Don't even
we've
get
known
started,
someone
sis.
who's,
Don't
but
go
you get
there.
what I'm saying? Like we've known
Yep.
somebody who may have two or three families and all have been well taken care of, but probably didn't meet until the funeral happens. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
True.
Robin would overly,
Well,
what I
my
like to call
granddaddy had
mansplain
kids by two
polygamy.
sisters, so
Oh Lord.
Oh,
Ooh,
Grandpa
that's
was a
it.
Rolling Stone.
Stone.
so
Exactly.
look,
He,
the
he didn't
movie
go
Color
far.
Purple. I
He didn't
swear, the
go.
movie
Yeah.
Color Purple was based on my family. I swear, I'm still trying to get the rights, the royalties from that, because
Hey,
that was my family.
hey,
I
I love
love
it.
Stop.
I love
Remember how
it.
when Mister came to get the younger sister, but the dad was like, "Nah, she's too young. I'll give you the older
it.
one." Like that's literally what happened in like my granddad.
Oh
Uh,
Oh
wow.
He
Jesus.
went to marry my grandma, but she was too young. So her parents gave the older sister. And then when the older sister started having kids, the younger sister came to assist with the birth and, the helping
Right.
out with the kids.
Right.
And then he ended up like, okay, yeah, she's old enough now. So, now I got the sister too.
That
mm,
really
That part.
happened in the Bible too. Remember that.
So that was
Yeah.
that's
Go ahead.
my family's take on polygamy.
right.
I
Right.
Wow.
love it. Hey, well, I'm saying
Wow.
it happens to the best of, Well, I was just saying African American families. I'm sure we all have stories like, Megatron's story, my grandpa's story. So it's not like we needed Robin to overly explain it to us, but for some reason she felt like she needed to be in the camera a tad bit more than maybe the other women or whatever else.
Oh,
So I
Raider's mom said her
believe,
grandpa had 5 wives.
What?
see,
Mm,
I
Jesus.
believe I definitely believe that what notes to self was saying on, and I'd seen one of their
Wh-
lives as well, and they said that it was played out to be the storyline of the Robin and Cody courting and then their marriage and whatever else, and it's kind of like the OG 3 and 13 were just there for the ride,
Well, but see,
unfortunately.
also, but see, keep this in mind. Robert's role was not only to come in and create the storyline, but it was also to explain to us normal people how it's done in the polygamous world that she never lived in.
Right.
Exactly.
It
Always,
was
always
really all
the
it wa-
voice of
right,
knowledge.
all it was really was her daddy had a second family. You know
That
what I'm
part.
saying? He had a
yeah.
family
That
in
a
Utah and a family
secret
in.
family. A
In a
secret
There
different
you
family.
go.
state, in
Yes,
a
Right.
different state, which she was
exactly,
never able to fully explain. But
exactly.
I'm gonna put my last thought here, and then I'm gonna have to start leaving because I got an appointment at 2:30.
And
But I
James,
wanted to ask your opinion. I mean, just not to bring in the content creators, but Cody is never has not is there's never been a clarification that he was excommunicated or not. If he was excommunicated, I don't think they would have given the release on abandonment. Maybe they could have just given the release because he was no longer part, right? Because the way it's been explained, if your husband's not good and you get a release, they want to farm you off to somebody else. Obviously, Mary wasn't going for that because they were not actually living polygamy because they were closed. Maybe they were closed off, but there is this rumor going around that one of the reasons, that for the Coyote Pass, and I think he mentioned it. I'm not sure because I see the clips. I'm not watching it. I mean, I did watch the 19 and 20 because I thought he was going to get a comeuppance. Stupid me. That he wanted to put a branch of the AUB there, and he would
Yep.
head it,
Yep.
and
Right.
they're not going for it. And I think it was, I want to say notes to self, but she can't verify because now she's on the outs with her father.
I
So
thought that
she can't verify that rumor because that rumor was floating around. But I kind of kind of
Well, I said it
thought he
before.
said that, right? I don't know. Correct me.
Well, I've said it before. I've said it for a while that he was trying to generate his own church, because that's what it would have been.
Yeah.
Because if you were that interested, like say you were scared and you were living in Utah and you were living polygamy, there are states that were close by that he could have moved to and he wouldn't have had any issue. Like he could have went to Wyoming,
Right.
you
Could have
know,
went to
'cause they
Montana.
have polygamous AUB branches there. That's where his dad was at.
He could have
You
went to
know,
Montana where
like he
she
didn't have
grew
to go
up.
to
Yep.
Vegas. Vegas was like, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to get away from the people and have less attention on myself. So I'm gonna move to Vegas.
So he was going somewhere so he couldn't get a spot in the church where they were at, so he was making a spot. Basically, is what it sounds
Exactly.
like.
Okay.
Exactly.
He was
Oh,
forcing the church to put a spot where he went. Oh, that
well, because
bastard.
he had said that both he and Christine had said that they were talking to him about having an elevated position within the church.
He
But
didn't want
Which they
because of
to
the
would
whole thing
have.
with him cutting his hair and him not, basically, they say it's him not cutting his hair. I think it comes down to something more simple than that, which is him not submitting to the authority of the people in the church.
Exactly. He could
And
not do that.
right. And because he didn't want to do that, he didn't get elevated in church. So I think that he moved for the opportunity, because if they already talk about promoting me, then I'm going to create my own opportunity by moving to a place where you guys don't have a church.
Yep.
And I'm the only game in town.
Write your
So,
own job description.
right,
Hmm.
right. So at that point, like I think he gets that thing. But I think that that's been the whole thing. Like the whole time, even with the reinvention, and this kind of gets back to the full circle. The whole reinvention and the redemption arc, I think that all goes back to his original plan of having his own show. And he's trying to cast, like many people who think they're going to do Hollywood, everybody wants to be the leading man, and everybody thinks that when they become the leading man, they're going to have the most beautiful leading woman or love interest on the show. You understand what I mean? So
Mhm.
like nobody goes into Hollywood like, oh yeah, I want to do love scenes with the big girl. Like, you know what I mean? I want to do it with Halle Berry. But unless you Brad Pitt, you're not doing it with Halle Berry. You know what I mean? If you look like the if you don't look like the leading man, but you look like the friend next door, then your wife is gonna be your wife, bro. It is what it is. And I
But
think
wasn't there a problem though, even with him marrying Robin, because he was already not financially securing the 3 wives he already had? The church supposedly had a problem with it.
no, it wasn't that
No, it
That
wasn't.
was
it
another
wasn't
lady,
Robin.
Christine's granddaddy. Christine's
Yes.
mom
Didn't like
told
him. Didn't like him.
who I think is the uncle or whoever was like, nah, he can't even afford the wives he got,
Yep.
Right.
and because they quit talking to Christine's mom.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was a different woman. Like it was a different woman entirely.
But
So
okay,
and
but
that was
think about it. If it was a different woman entirely who was solely by herself, how the hell was he gonna afford Robin and her 3 kids?
because they had the show.
They had the show by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Robin.
was counting on money he didn't have. Remember, these
That
are
part.
people that aren't good with money. So, even all the kids have said it. They spend it before they get it or as fast as they get it. So that was it. And I think he thought this was going to be his grand FU to the AUB because he was going to make it. He was going to be popular. And, like a lot of these cults and any organized religion, money talks, bullshit walks, because it's funny how it's said is if Robin really wanted to stay in polygamy and she got a release from Cody, she would be able to marry in the AUB because she hasn't totally left. But
Right.
before I leave, I just want to ask you guys something. I mean, as a community, as we are here on My Take on Reality, do you all wonder if we all band together and kind of, I don't know, wrote letters to TLC or whatever, that we could actually, I don't know, change their narrative, advocate for these kids? Because if they could pull Ruby Frankie, okay, granted, her child is the one that brought it forth. So now you have precedence. There's precedence because now these media or social media personalities have been investigated. The Chrisleys, I don't know what the Chrisleys did, but the FBI investigated them. Supposedly they wrote mortgage fraud. Oh.
We got a theme song.
Well, all right then, Edward Robinson. Who is that?
Come on, Edward.
That's not mine. I'm just wondering if maybe, letting TLC know that this narrative is not going to work. I don't know. I just really feel like, as we're dissecting this and as we're seeing it and it's out there and maybe other men, women, or children that are in this situation could benefit from our talks and the lives. I don't know if maybe we should take action individually or as a collective. I don't know how you'll feel about that.
I think my opinion on that would be writing letters may go on deaf ears. If you want to
Yeah,
affect them, you got to affect them in their pocketbooks, which would mean like
exactly. And that's why I
boycotting the
stopped
show.
watching.
Yep. If the
Yeah, I
viewership
got rid
goes
of
down, then
TLC. It's
they'll
not,
get
yeah, I'm
the
sorry, Carmel. Yeah, I got rid of TLC. You're right. I don't have it anymore. I got rid of it from my cable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right there. That's probably, well, we're not listening to her. She ain't paying us no way.
Which is, again, that brings us full circle. That's why he did Special Force. I don't know what the heck that show is called, but that's why he did that.
Special Forces.
Yeah, so that they can introduce a new audience of people that can hate him, or not hate him, but dislike him more and rubberneck more at the train. You know what I mean? The train wreck.
Well, actually, I don't think that they're like, because that's the whole thing. Like, if you look at, like, if you come this Sunday, I'm gonna blow it up a little bit.
You know,
because if you look at the way they're doing it, he's actually getting, like, this shit is actually, there's a possibility this might work. And I'm gonna tell you on Sunday how I think that this actually might work.
Hey, admit it. I agree.
Is it going to revive Sister Wives, or is it going to give him a successful spinoff?
Well, I think it's going to give him if it works right, if it's done right, it'll give him new life. Not just for Sister Wives, but beyond Sister Wives.
Yeah, like those House of Villains shit. Like, I think it'll sprinkle him across other producers and shows, and
right.
As if we don't have enough of his crap.
Right, because the way I see it, I don't think anything that's been done, because we've been watching it, and I think all of us have taken turns, collectively, if not individually, watching like starting like season 16, 17, 18, 19, with them reinventing the history. We've all taken a turn saying, this isn't what happened.
Not what happened.
This is bullshit. This is crazy. Who's falling for this? Why are they lying to us in our face? They playing in our face, y'all. We've all taken, I know I've said that shit. I've said that several times. They playing in our face. But what I didn't take into account,
not everybody
their
goes back.
Accounting of history was not for my benefit. They aren't talking to me. They're talking to the prospective fans that he thinks he's going to get from Special Forces and his other ventures. The new people who are coming into the franchise who don't have the historical knowledge to know who he is and what he's about.
And not everybody's going to go back and watch it. Like me, I'm OCD like that. I'm going to go back and watch season 1 before I even think about season 2800. Okay. So not everybody's going to do that. You're right, James. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
If you watch season 1, and especially if you look back on how it is, you watch season 1, he's the playful, fun dad who has testimony from his other 3 wives who talk about how wonderful this man is, how he spends so much time with the kids. And they've made special attempts and purposes and intentionally said he's better with his kids than most of the monogamous dads I know.
All right.
I remember liking Cody up until season 4.
Right. All right, y'all. I'm gonna say goodbye. I got laundry to put away. You can see it hanging on my sprinklers, and I got to jet out. I got an appointment in like 10 minutes.
Bye, Miss Linda.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon, and maybe I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good one. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to bounce out too, but I'll let you guys do a final statement. Negla, if you want to drop a final statement.
I just wanted to say, you and Mama My Take, have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Again, I always thank you for this platform. Thank you for this. Look, we don't judge. If somebody was to come on here and say they love Lord Fauntleroy or whatever, this is an open space. We're going to listen to you. You know, we might have some, back and forth or whatever, but it's not going to be, you know what I mean? It's going to be, it's going to be pure love. And you know what? That's what you believe in. That's your take. You know, you respect mine and I'll respect yours. But I love my Take fam and I love this space.
All right. Thank you, Negla. Appreciate you. And I 100% agree. I 100% agree. We're open to conversations, not necessarily arguments, but we're open to conversations. And if you have a point of view, we might get pushback, but it's done out of love. It's not done because we're trying to, I'm not trying to bash you, smash you, or make you feel bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you about it though, for sure. I love
I
Cody.
might have a question or two.
Explain it to me, please. So yeah, I 100% agree. And I'm curious. I really genuinely want to talk to somebody who is a fan of Robin and or Cody. I do. I really want to talk to somebody because I'm curious. I'm just curious because obviously it's working for somebody. But
Good luck finding them.
right.
There's a few out there.
Well, Megatron, I give you an opportunity to give your last argument.
No, I just this is my first Saturday membership only thing, and I kind of dig this. I like this being on the panel, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity and all the inputs. Like I'm starting to look at stuff like, oh, okay, well maybe I was a little too harsh, and so I mean I'm kind of taking it all in right now. So I appreciate you all and my take family, and I can't wait till tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And then, of course, last but not least, we had the Mega Mod Caramel Cuties.
All right. I don't really have a last take. I think I pretty much said every time I'm up on the live that I can't stand Cody and Robin. They get on my last nerves, but hey, they make good TV. So what can I say? I appreciate the community. This is also my first Saturday to be up on. I'm glad I caught it because I literally just turned on YouTube and was like, oh dang, did I miss it? So I was glad that I caught it and was able to come up. Thank you, James. I appreciate you making this a safe space for everybody's opinions, arguments. This is my new love language, I guess. So my kids think I'm crazy, but I enjoy it. I love you guys tremendously, and I enjoy every time you open up a live, even if it's just in conversations and getting everybody else's views and opinions.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just glad we here to enjoy each other. That's it. I guess in my final part, I appreciate everybody participating. You guys have been awesome. Again, like when you guys say stuff, like I don't think people really understand how symbiotic the relationship is. When you guys say things, I do take them into account, and that's the one weird, I guess, thing that I have. That even if I disagree with somebody or I argue a point, I'll go back later and genuinely think about what you said and what your points and your perspectives were. So I genuinely appreciate you guys giving your opinions, not necessarily just disagreements, but I genuinely agree with you guys giving your difference of opinion, your opinions and your perspectives so that I can benefit from it as well. Because you guys give me a lot to think about with regard to a lot of not just what's happening with Sister Wives, because again, I use some of this palette to understand people that I associate with. Because I have more than my fair share of Cody's and Robins and people like that. So I look back on some of those relationships and try to balance and explain things and try to understand things a little better. So I appreciate you guys. But thank you so much for joining in. Thanks to Linda, Raiders Mind. She came in. She had something. What did Raiders Mind say? She dropped something in the private section. She said her grandpa had 5 wives. She also said, I don't think Cody planned the catfish, but he allowed it. So there's another vote for he might not have been involved with it, but he approved the situation. Sorry you didn't get to come up, Raiders Ma. I put you in, but we didn't hear from you. But maybe next time, if you guys want to join in, we have plenty of room on the round table. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Lizzie B in the house, get salute. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for being real cool on the panel, letting everybody get their words in. Appreciate it. It's awesome. I enjoy doing these. Thank you guys so much for hanging out on this Saturday at noon. That's my take. I'm James. This has been my take, or should I say our take, on reality. And we out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side.